How y'all doing, man? It's your boy, the com man, KJN_man.5. That's the Bay. Catch me on Universal The Bays. Catch me on What It Sound Like podcast. We get your best reviews and interviews. Catch me on the Blerd Cartel. You know we doing well. And catch me on Blerd Proof Entertainment on Tapping No Capping. Basically, if you're a Blerd and you've seen it, then what's your opinion? What's going on with the guests?
How you doing?
Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell them what
Okay. My name is Simona. I am not out there and live in the public view often, so I don't really have a great introduction. But yeah, my name is Simona. I'm 27. I'm from California, and that is also how I know the host here. High school.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So tell them about like, you know, how things been going with you since high school to now. Like give them a little background about you, what you do, your career field, you know what I'm saying?
High school to now. Okay, I'm gonna just treat this like an interview since I've been doing interviews for the last 2 weeks.
Hey, we in the proper attires, lightweight.
You said I'm in the proper
Hey, you could be. Hey, that's discrimination if they feel some type of way.
Anyway, okay, so high school to now, let's see. I joined the Navy in 2014 because I am impatient and I was ready to be stable. So yeah, I joined the Navy in 2014. I stayed in for about 6 years. I got out in 2021. The entire time I was in IT. And let's see. Yeah, when I got out, I stayed in the IT field because, I mean, why would I not? That's, the tech field is where it's at. So if you're looking to get in the tech field, I suggest do it because
that's where the money is.
The Blacks are in tech. They have a whole group for that. Like Black people are going, it's going up. But anyway, yeah, so I'm in tech right now. I'm in cybersecurity specifically. And that's what I do. I'm out here trying to climb the ladder and, hopefully I'll make 6 figures this year, but that's that. And
don't be shy with your, you know what I mean? Speaking to
I'm a little humble. I don't do all that.
Don't cough.
No. Technically, I did just get a job offer, and it will be putting me at 6 figures. So.
Oh, okay. So we might get a donation. That's what I hear.
Hey, I ain't mad at it.
No, but we definitely
personality-wise, I'm just probably overall goofy and ambitious. That's about it.
That's what's up. So speaking about personality-wise, what's your marital status and what are the type of guys that you would say is your type?
Yikes. I'm single.
Okay.
I've never been married.
That's rare for a veteran.
You said that's weird. Right. Made it out of my life. Because, if you go in the Navy, you're going to be married a few times.
Right.
Yeah, so my type, I'm still trying to figure that out right now. Unfortunately, my type has been a certain type for a long time. Not by conscious desire, but by subconscious desire, I'm sure. And I'm just now learning how deep that rabbit hole goes. So, honestly, looking back, like I said, it wasn't conscious, but looking back at the type of men that I've definitely either been attracted to or dated, I've only had 2 boyfriends, like 2 real boyfriends in my entire life. And even the people in between that I may have dated, jerks, and not jerks to me, but outwardly jerks, like normally, jerks to everyone else. So I don't know if that was the thing that I had, like I felt special or something, like, oh, he's not so mean to me.
I've heard that before.
But yeah, that seems to, and honestly, I won't even say I was attracted to them. Those men are attracted to me, and I allow those men, if that makes sense.
Let's not. All right, hold on, man. So you this is your first time on the show, so I'm gonna show you some grace. But when we hear shit like that, we like to call it.
That's cap.
Let me explain.
Come on, man. Keep it
because I actually just went over this with my counselor. So let me explain what I mean by that. What I mean by that is
counselor. Okay.
Yes, I do go to counseling. I need counseling. I need it. What I mean by that is I'm not a person who looks for anything, so you know how there are people who have two struggles, right? You have people who look for stuff, and then you have people who accept just anything. I'm on the accept anything problem. That's my problem. So I may not go searching for that type of man, but when it comes to who's knocking at my door, the type of men that I seem to let in are those type of men. That's what I meant by saying where my attraction lies. So yes, it is an attraction, but it's not that I go looking for assholes. I'm like, look at that guy. He's such a jerk. Not like that. It's more like, I don't know what's pulling me to you, but I'm going to open the door. I don't know what is, something's telling me to open the door, and what that something is, trauma. So unhealed wounds and generational stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation.
So fun little background story about me. What I don't know what high school did, because I went to a lot of high schools. What high school did we do that?
I only went to 2 high schools in my life. Sacramento was Kennedy, and
there you go. I went to Kennedy.
It was Kennedy, right?
So I did go to Kennedy, but before I went to Kennedy, I went to Grant High School, and so before I went to Grant and all that stuff, fun story about me is I always been the nice guy, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, due to where we come from, that's not really acceptable mannerisms, you know what I'm saying? Like when you go to school it's real roughneck, it's real hood, it's real, you feel me? Like you gotta act and be a part of a certain crowd unless you're gonna be wiggled out, you know what I'm saying? And that's from the guys and the women. So I remember one time when I was in junior high, I had a dude that tried me, and I ain't gonna go through the whole background story, but basically, make a long story short, I beat the fuck out of him. You know what I'm saying? Beat him bad, so bad to the point like I lost my anger. You feel me? And hashtag the nice guy. Facts. That's my partner Jew. Hey, that's the co-host, man. I wish he was here. Oh shit, what's up with Aisha, man? Thanks for tapping in with tapping, no capping, man. Hey, that's the, you know what I'm saying? That's the people that's cut from the cloth. That's my little circle. But going back into my story, it was this dude. I whooped his ass hella bad to the point where like I wasn't coherent. I was gone. You feel me? Like I just lost it, like so bad to the fact where like it took like 7 people to pull me off him. You know what I'm saying? Like 7 people to pull me off him, and even then I still was on him. Like he was just kicking his feet up to like keep me off of him, because I was just tagging him while he's on the ground. I punched him right next to the principal, all type of shit. I was wilding out. And what happened? It was this big Samoan dude. Oh, nigga didn't hop on. Nigga, what's up? You didn't say you feel me? You told me you was gonna be out the way. You know what I mean? I'm respecting it. You feel me? If that was the case, you could create the flyer. Coming from a corny background, really that bad? I don't think so. But I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll go finish up and sew it up. So it's this big Samoan dude that grabbed me up. You know what I'm saying? Pulled me from over the rails and all that stuff. That finally I couldn't do nothing because he was so strong. You feel me?
Yeah.
And all I heard him say was, "Man, really? Right next to the principal?" And I was like, in that moment, I was like, I fucked up. I fucked up. I took it too far.
You know what? People be so surprised when I say this, but especially my girlfriends. But I've never been in a fight.
Wow,
and I
that's
actually
crazy.
I've never really had to. I don't know. I've never really had to. I really normally get along with most people, and I've never really. That doesn't mean I've never gotten upset. I've just never gotten in a fight. And I actually had one girlfriend one time. I'm known for being honest, but I had one girlfriend one time. She was going on a rant about how she couldn't be with no friends that had never been in a fight before. She needed to know that her friends could fight. And I started laughing. I was like, I've never been in a fight. I was like, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't go down for you. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean. See, listen,
not a right guy.
What I mean by that is I don't have that type of pride. See, I'm not. I don't have that type of pride. So I would still fight for you, even if I know that big ass girl will whoop my ass. Even though I don't have Creed fighting skills, I'm still gonna.
This how you know this nigga a criminal. This nigga got 40 plus fights and he got no name on here. He gonna put his shit
All
out
my
there.
life, I had to fight.
A lot of corny men and women, they just gotta learn, move through that transition. I feel that. Go ahead.
About that video, yeah, that was interesting. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Honestly, I don't stay in the public eye too much. I be in my own world, mothering and all that stuff, but I've never had a problem with corny. So when I say that I was attracted to what I was attracted to, that doesn't mean that I was unattracted to the other. Like I've never felt like that about. I've never joked with somebody for being corny. Shit, I'm corny, to be honest with you. Like no, to be honest with you, I feel corny. So that was just interesting, and I could tell on his
face. You just said, but you started off like you said, is that you attracted or you feel accepted is what you allow these
it's a balance thing.
Assholes to come at you. So why would you allow that type of person if you actually like corny? Because you say you only attracted a certain type or allowed a certain type. I was bullied by one of the biggest sets in my city, and I ended up gang banging. I know exactly what that's like, bro.
Yeah. Wait, what was the question again? You said.
So I'm saying, like, if you actually like corny, then why is it that the only?
Oh, it's not that I. No, I'm saying it's that it's not that I don't like corny. So what I'm saying is, you're saying like as far as what I allowed, I'm saying like there was a certain attraction there that I'm not saying that it was healthy, but I'm saying most of the time that's how it turns out to be. So like, for example, it's not like they came at me with "I'm a dick" on their forehead. It's more like I realized after the fact, like, God, this person is, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I saw how they were treating me, but then on the outside, I'm like, oh wait, you know. And then eventually that comes full circle, right? So anybody who's a dick, everybody's gonna be a dick to you too. Like, it's just about timing, you know. It's about when it comes out. So I'm saying, in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, these people have similar characteristics. You know what I'm saying? So there's something about the energy that I'm allowing, because I don't know that at first. Obviously they're being all, you know, sweet and girl this and girl that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not knowing, they're not being a dick to me,
right?
And because you can't be a dick to me to get through the door. Like, I'm not into that. Like, I'm not into nobody who's rude to me or nothing like that. So when I say jerk, I don't mean jerk like they was just coming off like mean to me. I mean, later on I realized that they were jerks. So yes, that's the word I was just boy, I've been love bombed out of, right? Like, in the beginning, it's a bunch of love bombing. That's what I'm saying. And then later on, it turns into like, soon as the jig is up, soon as I set a boundary or catch them like in something, then it's like, oh, this person is an a-hole. Now, after the first person, you're like, maybe it was just that person. But then the second person has a similar trait. Third person has a similar trait. Fourth person, you're like, okay, wait a minute. Somehow I'm allowing this type of energy, right? And so I haven't got to the end of that equation. I'm not even going. No clue why that is. So when I say attracted to jerks, I don't mean the general sense. Like most people say, oh yeah, like assholes, like as in he's an asshole to me too. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about after the mask is up and revealed, they're that person. So I don't know.
Oh man, yo, Craig, you stressing me out with the wine. Hey, yo, so that lets you know I don't really drink like that. You feel me? That's the reason why I was struggling with it, but I figured it out. It got done, it got completed.
I actually plan on having wine myself, so that.
You got some?
I'm about to go get me a glass right now.
Well, get your cup, then we'll cheers. I'll tell my story when you come, and I'll give you a little time.
Don't be all in my background.
All right, so going back into what I was saying, y'all. So like, and that's actually like my first girlfriend ever. Like Gabby, by the way, you know, congratulations to her. She married, she got kids and all that stuff. But yeah, so
my kitchen.
I say that because that background I was saying originally actually, like, you know, kind of relates to her. You feel me? So like basically I whipped this dude's ass. I got put on contract. And basically, if I got into any other fight in the school district, then I was gonna get expelled because that's how bad I beat him. You feel me? But after I whipped this dude, like all of a sudden, all the females was on me. You feel me? Like they was like, "Oh, you feel me? trying to holler at me, trying to get in the DMs. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you,
that was
I've
me.
always
That's
been
not what I
corny.
meant.
Huh?
See, that's what. Okay, I feel like at first that's how it was interpreted. Like you said, how all the women was on you after you like got in that fight. See, that's not what I mean. Like
Because of
I would run from dudes that got in the fights. Like I
really?
tried to avoid assholes, and I still ended up with. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I'm in counseling. I'm trying to figure it out right now. Like, what is it like?
So how was they an asshole if it wasn't physical? Like, in what ways was they an asshole?
I mean a deeper level of cruelty. Like I lightweight attract people who are abusive. When I say jerk, I don't mean that they're mean to me. I mean or mean to others. Like I mean people who have manipulative personalities, controlling personalities. Like that's what I mean by that. So I don't mean someone who just was, the tough guy or that, he's an ass. Like I don't mean that. I mean the dangerous kind. Like.
So violent then, right?
Damage your psyche long term when you deal with them. Got it.
You said what?
So that's violent then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'll let him go. Go ahead, Otis.
I didn't.
No, I was just saying, the emotionally manipulative type, those are the ones that damage you the most long term because they make you question yourself.
The self-doubt level, the meter is high and it's hard to undo. It's like deprogramming.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about people who are just yes. Yes. Gaslighting, yes. Those, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm outside walking around and I'm like, ooh, he's so rude, I like that. No, I run from those people who are outwardly like that. But the people who I seem to attract and coincidentally let in are the people who actually are deep rooted, like dark, like they have a darkness about them. And honestly, I actually was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they were saying that light attracts dark. And what I hear about myself and how I come off to other people, the response I get from other people is that they feel a light from me. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was some like yin and yang type, like, yes, girl. I wouldn't be surprised. And maybe that's not all bad because I do also bring certain sense of healing to like women that I'm around to or certain people. But in relationships, it is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be cool in a friend sense, but when it comes to relationships between that darkness and that light, I be getting ate the fuck up. I be getting ate up. So
it may be a thing to add a little dark to it to balance it out, to make sure you're finding somebody that's got some balance to them too.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm taking this space to myself. I told you, that I was being very, I'm in a space where I'm being very selective now because I don't have a choice. The last relationship I almost was in deeply, he showed some serious shit, like all at once. And I was like, this person is definitely going to beat me. Like there's no other. And I'm just thinking, it scared me. You know what I'm saying? Like how close that was for me. And I was like, I need to take a step back and really see like, how can I, you know what I'm saying? Build a wall. Because it could have potentially been a very dangerous situation. Like he didn't live here, and as the pace we were going and how fast he was making sure it was going, you know what I'm saying? Like those people, I feel bad for people who have been in abusive situations. Because they're very judged. And a lot of people are like, why didn't you just do this? And why didn't you just leave? And why did you? They don't understand that these people are experts at fucking up your mind. Like, I can't even get into it. It's deep.
To get away from that, yeah.
It's very difficult because what they do is they reprogram how you think. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't even. I just have empathy and understanding for anybody who goes man or female because I've been through it my whole life, to be honest. My whole life.
I think Aisha just said a bar. She said optimism can be a healer's kryptonite.
Okay, so me and her we must go together in the journey because girl, Got my wine now. Look.
Hey, cheers. Cheers to healing.
Cheers to healing. It is refreshing though to finally see all this. Like the stuff I'm saying right now, I wouldn't even been able to say maybe not even 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So heartbreak can unravel a lot of goodness too. And it caused me to look at myself, like you were saying earlier, to kind of say like, where do I go from here and how do I not get back here? You know? And so it made me look back at all my relationships, not just men, but everyone. And I've been surrounded by a lot of dark people who are more interested in taking than they are in giving.
So with that being said, right? So like you said that you've mostly attracted to assholes, right? But have any of these men projected to be a good dude, but ended up to be a bad one? You know,
That's
what I'm saying?
exactly what you just said. That's what I was trying to say. Yes, that's exactly how each one happens. And I think what happens is I'm so like positively light, they're reflecting that. You know what I'm saying? They're mirroring it. And you can only mirror something for so long. So once that mask comes down, you know what I'm saying? If I'm naturally like this is not going to come off. But if you're not naturally like that, it's going to come off. And I love to say this too. Like, this is something I realized with the last relationship is that people can fake goodness, but they can't fake darkness. So if someone shows you dark, believe that, because that's real. That's real. Nobody's going to fake being, you know, like that's hard to like. So if someone shows you a darkness that makes your skin crawl, believe that that's I think what happens to people is that's why people use love bombing, because they get you so attached to the lovely side of them that when they do something bad or dark to you, you're thinking like, that's not how he normally is. That's not him. That's not her. But actually, in actuality, the darker part is more real, because anybody, I could fake being good to you for 2 months, 3 months. I mean, anybody, as long as you know the characteristics of a good person, you can, I mean, we have actors and actresses in the world. Like, it's right. So who wants to be seen as bad though? What would they gain from that? So that's how you know that's a real thing that's coming out of them. That's a real issue or real characteristic. It just depends on, you know, whether you can deal with it or not. And unfortunately, the people that I have experience with, it's not darkness that I can deal with. It's darkness that would break me. You know what I'm saying? And
so I wanted to answer that question that you just said, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. This is the Rebellion 5. What's happening, man? A real thing though. Love bombing is a technique. Hey, shout out to that podcast, man. They a couple of real ones. Thank you for having Tapping No Capping on there, man. Y'all good hosts, man. Keep doing y'all thing. Also shout out to the Then and Now podcast. That's my boy Otis. That's their channel. You know what I'm saying? Big fan. They already know what's happening. So definitely big ups. And then, you know, I would give you some shout out, but you won't be in the you know, the live or anything like that. So still shout out to Mona, if that's what she decided to go with her name as. So.
Mona. that's my rebirth name. Okay. I used to hate that nickname. Funny story. I actually used to hate that nickname. People would call me that on their own without my permission. My full name is Simona. Anybody doesn't know that, obviously. But yeah. Mona has kind of been like a rebirth, you know. I've been allowing it, and I'm used to it, and I like it, so it's Mona.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
New you?
New life, new me at this point.
So going back to that statement that you said, like, who wants to be bad? Who wants to be like, what would they gain? What would they benefit from being bad, right?
Right.
So one of my favorite icons of all time is Tupac. And when he was a youngin', he said this, and I'm gonna take this little short clip.
Respect for women, ultra respect for women. But then, like I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra nice, you know, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And she told me I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't work because I was too nice. That was the ultimate stab in the back. So I went through a week of just going, forget it, I'm just going to be like them. Because they seem to get the girls, and they call girls the B word, you know, and they smack and beat, and they're getting girls, and I'm going, peace, and I think you're beautiful, and I'm...
So, like, I think that for a lot of men, and I can testify to this myself, is that, like, I would be the person that's against the grain and try to be myself and whatever the case may be, but be looked at as not masculine, not, manly enough, too soft, too nice, because being a gentleman, being raised right, showing a, actually, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Being a gentleman is not like the attraction you think it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? The whole giving a woman respect. I mean, a lot of people look at power struggles or power scales in a relationship. And if a woman feels, from a lot of women I've talked to, and maybe that's just like my specific region where I live. I'm not saying this applies to all women, but specifically where I live and where I grew up, women feel as though if they can get you to do something easily, or if they can manipulate you, or if they can walk all over you, and that's just you showing kindness, then basically they don't want you, because any woman, you do that for any woman, they can take advantage. Any woman can take advantage of you. You're an easy target. It's not manly. You feel me? So how do you feel about that?
I hate that for men, to be honest, because let me tell you, I feel like it's unfortunate that some of the men had their first experiences with women that are like that, because after that they think that all women are like that, and that's 100% inaccurate. Honestly, like, like if some of the women who actually like gentleness got to these men first, their entire view would be different. But how I feel about it personally, for me, um all I need to feel like is I can submit. That's all I need to feel like. I can't really go much, I know that's kind of vague, but I don't, when I was younger, maybe I believed in that there's a such thing as too nice. You know what I'm saying? I think that also is a maturity thing. But
Thanks for coming
like
back.
corny is such a word, like it's not even, it's so specific to the person. Like, okay, so for example, I could have a girlfriend who thinks a man that buys her flowers is corny, right? But me, I could love flowers, but I might think a man who is rude to you and like playful banter is corny. But she might love it. You get what I'm saying? It's very specific. It's very specific to the person. And I think it's about age. I mean, when you're younger, you may feel like that. I don't know where it comes from, but maybe you do feel like you don't want a man that you can walk all over. And I think it's just said wrong, honestly. I think that women just want to feel like that
Protected.
the man can be the calming force for them, because women can be, I'm not going to speak for all women, but shit, we can be emotional sometimes. We're hormonal. We have periods. We have PMS. We don't want to be corny is synonymous with kindness. And that's what I'm saying. I don't like that. I don't like that corniness is synonymous with kindness. I don't like that. I feel like that's interesting to me, because even when I was younger, like I said, I've never been into men who were mean to me. Like I have a girlfriend, matter of fact, recently, who was saying a guy thought I was cute, and she told him straight up that I wouldn't like him. He asked her why, and she said because he's a dick. And I don't like men who are like that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying. It's not a forward thing like, oh yeah, he's so mean. I love that shit. I ain't never been into that. I don't like nobody. Be nice to me. Talk nice to me. And most of the women that I know are like, well, except for a couple of my friends, they like that spicy shit. But for me, no, talk nice to me. I want my man to call me mango, cocoa, honey butter. Like,
I'm not sure these things go together, but I got you.
Hey man, for me, corny. So I guess corny in my, like I said, it's specific to the person. Corny for me is someone who tries to be something that they're not. So the men that I find corny are men or people. Let's just say people, because I find women corny too. The people that I find corny are people who are trying to be something that they're not. So you know those people that I'm talking about, who like they try to look all hella cool and like down, and like they go out of their way to make sure that everybody likes them, and you could tell they don't really feel that way about themselves. They're not really that confident. It's just a facade. Those people who feel like they got to talk about other people, and like everywhere they go, like corny. That's corny to me. A man who gotta flash his money, like, the men who be sitting in the corner, be spending all $8, like, well, what's up, mom? Like, they act like they're not paying you no mind, but they've been staring at you for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? That's corny to me. But a man who opens my door, beautiful.
You know what's so crazy? Because
Love it.
They say chivalry is dead because of women. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of dude, like, I'll open the door and it's not for
Ooh,
me to
okay.
holler at you. It's not for me to try
I
to,
have something that might get me in trouble.
huh?
But I got two men on here right now, so I might as well get it out and ask the question because I have an opinion about that.
Okay, that's cool. All right, but let me say this real quick
Okay.
because women don't say thank you for this no more, and nowadays because women are in this move, this wave of like, period. You know, like what else they say? They be like, as I ended. You know what I'm saying? It's like this
Indeed.
entitled
Sorry.
mentality, this entitled mentality where it's like if I open up the door for you, it's no longer appreciated because you expect it. It's like, oh, you should be doing this, of course, because it's me. I'm out here like you better be opening the door for me versus like
Do
back
you?
then where the kindness would be reciprocated that would actually embolden a man to want to do these things. But nowadays it's like, why would a man, what was the benefit of a man to do these things, even the common chivalrous shit, if a woman's just gonna look at that and be like, of course, like, and basically, like,
That's what
degrade
it
him a
is.
little bit, you know what I'm saying?
I
So I
feel like
mean, for one thing,
uh-huh.
for the women that are entitled like that like are expectant of that, just avoid them for one, because they're not good people to involve yourself with. Like, don't be around those women
But
because
how do
they're.
you so if you open a
Okay,
door
wait.
for a
Oh, I
woman,
like what he just said because
no, how
that's
do
what I
you
was
no,
getting
hold on?
ready.
How do you open it if you open up the door for a woman, right? You going into the
But the
grocery
thing is,
store.
like, okay, to I don't mean to cut you off, Con, man, but
No, I'm just asking a
you cut
question.
me off first, so I'm
Of
coming
course,
back.
that's fine. Go ahead.
Like, one, you shouldn't be like being chivalrous to a person to expect something back anyway. Like that is like slight manipulative on your part if you are doing that to like be thanked, to be like reciprocated in some way for that. So like
You're
you're
saying if
you're
you
already
weren't
putting yourself
expecting
in
it,
a
you wouldn't
negative
be
space
bothered.
when you do that. But like I mean, when you should be that type of person towards everyone if you're really that way. And if you are, you're gonna run it. Of course, you're gonna run into those women that are like,
Oh,
thank you, whatever. But when you run into one that's like really appreciative of it, that's the one that you approach. That's one that you give your time to. You know what I'm
oh.
saying? Like just going to dealing with a woman just because like you like her aesthetic isn't gonna really do you justice long term. But I mean, like
So
if
I
you
got
if
my
you
receipt. I need that back.
yeah.
Okay, to touch on that, this is exactly what I was going to say. Do you believe that we pay more attention to the bad things in the world than the good things that happen to us? So there's this thing where people say like the bad stuff gets more energy than the good, and it's not on purpose. It's just how we're made. Like that's just how human people are, right? So we're going to feel like there's more of that in the world than there is of the other. And I was just going to say like he said, if you're say you open the door anyway, right? Being chivalrous anyway, like it could be an older man, it could be an older woman, you know, you're focused on the one girl with the nails that are 6 inches and the hair down her back, and you already knew she wasn't gonna say thank you when you do it anyway because you already expected it. But I'm saying it's an algorithm thing to me, right? It's just like when I
Mm.
get on the internet. The internet's going to tell me that there's nothing but bad men out there. The internet's going to tell me that men are doing this and doing that, and they're going to show me all that shit that because I subscribe to it. I
Mm.
subscribe to believe in that,
Mm.
but it's not actually true. See, there are billions of people in the world, and it's impossible for you to know every single one. And a lot of the women that I know are like me. So it's interesting that like I hear this a lot, and I actually had a friend who he a little bitter. But the point is, I feel like the question that I was going to ask earlier that I said was going to give me, I was ready for the responses of it is because
Do
I
your
want to
thing.
know for real from a man's point of
Let it
view.
off.
I feel like, what kind of women are you expecting responses? The women that you're, how do I say, allowing to affect you, which women are these? Are these the women that are, it's very obvious how they feel about themselves, right? Or how they feel about me.
Mm.
I'm just saying, okay, for example, I have a friend who complained about women who expect they're money women, right? They expect you to drop bags on the first date. They expect you to pay bills by the second week. Yada yada. They like bitches do this, and we get to call them bitches and all this stuff, right? I'm saying it's called a law of equivalent exchange.
Shout out to Full Metal Alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, with saying that is, I'm saying, are you going after women that obviously already hold themselves, like you can already tell what they're going to expect of you? Or are you going after women who don't show that, who don't give off that same persona? Because I feel like men will go after a woman that clearly is going to be like that with you. Like she's got the weave down to her ankles. She's got the BBL. She's got the contacts and the nails out. You know, it be obvious. Like it be the quote
She's
unquote
holding the Prada
society's now
bag.
bad
She's
bitch that these men
wearing.
are going after,
Yeah.
and they're upset about how she's been. Well, I mean, but it's already there. So I'm saying, which women? That's my question is, I guess, to state it in more of a question sense.
Deep
Which
side.
women are you letting affect you the most?
Okay, so I'll respond because it seems like I'm the only one with this perspective.
No, I
Oh,
agree. I don't disagree that women don't say thank you. I agree, but I'm saying I also agree with what he's saying. And what he's saying is, if you're honestly just a chivalrous person and you hold the door open anyway, because I hold the door open for people, if you're honestly just like that, it's not even gonna affect you that somebody didn't even say thank you. You know, but it's the society that we're in right now. It's the he-she war that we're going through.
right.
This
Correct.
evolution that's causing you to really hyper focus on
Right.
the fact that, well, the first two women, because that's what I'm saying, badness has a it holds longer than goodness.
Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
bet you
Right.
during your day you do have a few people that say thank you, but the bad bitch that didn't say thank you, she gonna stay on your mind for 2 weeks.
So I got 3 points I want to make. I got 3 points I want to make in response to what you just said, right? One, I don't never look at a woman, right? And what she's wearing, where her hair is, what she got on, what's the jewelry, none of that shit defines a woman's character or like, what I think she's about. Mind you, again, in response to what Otis said, I'm not opening the door for a response or for a thank you. However, my point was when I made it is that if it's given in disrespect, right? If my response to when I'm being chivalrous is not is a positive reinforcement, right? Then it's kind of like the world expects a man to be a certain way, right? And you have so many women that ask, okay, what happened to the gentleman? What happened to chivalry? You know what I'm saying? We're just talking about common respect. We're not talking about me trying to holler at a female. We talking about just me trying to be the honorable man that I was raised to be. And it's being paid back with disrespect. It's getting paid back with he's a clown. It's being paid back with, oh, he's doing this because he thinks I'm attractive. Or, oh, if I don't give him a compliment back, then, oh, well, then you really wasn't a nice guy to begin with. And I just feel like every time a man attempts to be a good guy, the world does everything in its power to dismantle the character of this good man. You know what I'm saying? I feel the same way with Michael B. Jordan. I feel the same way about Sierra's husband. It's like people want to find the cracks in a good person because they want to believe in the negative and they want to perpetuate the negative. That's a continued cycle. And anything that you can try to do with good intentions, they'll manipulate your intentions to fit that narrative. So that's how I feel about that. I don't think that expecting somebody to be a decent human being is manipulative on your part. I think that everybody should be a decent human being. You don't even have to like give me flowers or nothing like that to say thank you. Just thank you for opening the door. If somebody gave me a compliment, a coffee, or anything, any gesture of kindness should be paid back with a simple thanks. That's not me trying to get your number. That's just human decency. That's common decency. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
saying
So
the women of today are so full of themselves that they think every time you do something that it's about getting their affection or their attention, and they try
right.
to
And even if it's not that, then I'm not gonna say thank you because I feel as though this is a expected treatment, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like a lower of my class and my status of like, oh, you doing this because like maybe you're a 4 and I'm a 7. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Like I feel like a lot of women have that mentality where it's like again, it's just not appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, growing up, I've had women my age that look past me and go for the negative dudes, but they mamas and they aunties, you know what I'm saying, they older sisters.
Well, their mamas and aunties are grown and they know better, though. That's what I'm saying. It's a maturity thing.
That's I'm talking about a generational change of attitude, because women back then will take that and appreciate it, even if they not gonna give you the draws in the number with the woo. It's like, oh man, thank you for helping me with my bags with the groceries. Thank you for being a good man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like women, I've heard so many times that women will fight the fight of, when I say, yo, this was a good gesture, y'all should appreciate that. They'll go, well, I'm supposed to, what, you want me to compliment you for doing what you're supposed to do? And I feel like that attitude of what people expect men to be is, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. Just like how they say, I don't know if you ever heard this, but on Father's Day, niggas don't give no gratitude to Father's Day. They don't give flowers and applause. That's what you're supposed to do, nigga. You're supposed to be a dad. You're supposed to do this. While whole time when it comes to women, we giving the flowers. Oh, thank you for being a good mom. Love you, mom. Woo, woo, woo. The affection and the reciprocation when it comes to kindness towards men is not the same when it comes to women. That's just that's how I feel. That's what I think.
So, I mean, with that, I'm going to go back to what Mona said earlier. It's all about what you subscribe to. I mean, if you are focusing on people that are negative, you're going to see more negative people. But I mean, to say that all women are like this, to generalize like that, that's kind of inaccurate. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of women like that out there. There's a lot of men who are manipulative out there too. I mean, like, we're not going to say like it's just like a one-way track, but like, the rest it's they exist on both ends of the spectrum. So I mean, if you are finding yourself being around the negative more, then I would say just try to look for more of the positive and focus on them, because I mean the negative is always going to be there. Like, it's never going away.
We create our own reality, really, at the end of the day, and we create that reality by what we subscribe to, is what I'm saying. So, like, for example, I purposely place myself around women who are married or aspire to be married or aspire to be around good men. And I do that because I want to be in that reality. I want that to be my algorithm. But I want to read this real quick because it's very...
Yeah, I was reading it too. You told me, I was shaking my head. Yeah, like, okay, you talking that shit.
It does come with a list of conditions. It does. But yeah, for me personally, I be in my own world and I focus on that world and I create what's allowed in that world. To kind of state just another side of what you're saying, right? You're saying women expect you to be this good man and, you know, and all this stuff. And it's almost like they don't even feel like they need to say thank you for it because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Like you said, right? How I respond to that really is I consider myself to be a good woman. And it's so natural and deeply ingrained in me that it doesn't matter how many men break my heart and how many men step on me, I'm still going to be a good woman. I could try not to be, but I've decided in my soul that that's who I want to be. And at the end of the day, if I ever get married to somebody, they will be getting a good woman because I've kept that intact. And what I'm saying is, to compare the analogies is I'm going to keep holding those doors open because that's who I am. It doesn't matter how many people don't value it and don't respect it. It's not going to change my mindset about how valuable being a good woman is. It's a choice. And I don't allow worldly stuff to affect that, to be honest, because it's a personal choice. At the end of the day, I'm going to die in my box by myself. I'm going to be buried alone. And it's a legacy for me. It's my personal legacy to know that I aspired to be more. My heart has been broke so many times. I could have been all of them women. I could have been the hurt woman. I could have been the bitchy woman. I could have been the woman that don't say thank you because I'm bitter and that nigga should have opened them up. Like, could have been all these women are right now 5 times over, but it's a choice. And I feel that men...
Hold on, let me tap in with
tap in.
I just felt like you gave a whole sermon. I'm definitely feeling that, so I just had to give you a little acknowledgement. But go ahead before you got cut off. Do you feel like men?
I feel like men. Okay. oof, I hope this goes out right. I really do. The expectation that men have to be applauded for just being a good man, women do not expect. We don't have that. We are from birth expected to be a good woman. There is no applause for that. There is no thank you. There is no congratulations. It's just like, for example, when I became a mother, when my daughter's dad, I respect him, I forgive him, it's all good. But when my daughter's dad did what he did to mess with the relationship, people kind of came at me like, well, at least he's a good dad. At least he's a good dad. You know, you should be grateful that he is still in your child's life. Like, you should be grateful for a choice that I didn't even have as a mother. Is anybody applauding me for sticking around? No, because everybody expects it.
That's deep.
So what I'm saying is, be a good man, not because the world appreciates it, but because you value being a good man. And I wish that, and then also goodness outweighs that. It outweighs it. At the end of the day, somebody gonna see you for the good man that you are. At the end of the day, somebody is going to value. There's a woman out there who values that shit top notch, like it's killer. You might just have to wait for her to go through a couple rebirths and a couple journeys, right? To really, you know, maybe God's preparing her to value you that way. It's same for me, you know, as a good woman. But
you might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you somebody's Tennessee.
Stick to the tea. The majority might be negative tea. It might be the tea that make you a little gassy, but there are some, you know, white blood cells out there. It's just gonna take a minute to link up, and I feel like I do believe in manifesting. I do. How did you know? Was it the?
That's the reason why I left that up there. It's probably the part.
I do believe in manifesting. I do. I must sound like it. I do.
You know, but I mean, when it comes to that, I just see like nothing good ever comes easy. So I mean, expecting a good woman to come like just magically out of nowhere without going through some trials and tribulations, or vice versa, expecting a good man to come out of nowhere without, you know, understanding what a good man is to you. Because I think everyone's definition of good should be different, because we all are different as people. We all need different things. So I mean, you have to see the bad to understand exactly how valuable the good is.
Yeah. That's
some traumatizing shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's some shit that may like turn a Christian away, like God. So you mean to tell me this is it? This is how I get to know you, to suffer? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Because we value the peace and the blessing more. And I must say, I actually just got the phone with my sister, and I was telling her that I forgave my daughter's dad. And she said, well, you know, what made you do that? And I said, because after seeing it, you got to have some of the bad to value the good. And experiencing what I experienced showed me what I believed. I now know I have I could outline it with a pencil, what a good man is for me. And I wouldn't even had that before. You know what I'm saying? So Nice Girls finished last too, by the way. I don't know if you heard Jasmine Sullivan's song, Girl Like Me, I think it's called. But yes, that's what she's talking about.
I mean, she also got that one song
these
BBLs where she was talking about what is that movie called where she cheated on her husband and I don't know why I love him, you know he treat me so bad, yada yada yada.
Yeah, that's called In Love with Another Man, that song.
Exactly. So she also got that.
Very contradicting, but she's grown. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But that's last song, Girl Like Me. I really, when I went through my stuff recently, like when I was a couple years ago, but I really related to what she was saying, because it's almost like she's saying she's tempted to cross over because she feels like those people are getting more response than, being pretty much like being a good woman means nothing. And you're just literally saying that about women and men. We feel the same, but yet we at odds, we battling each other. I don't understand it. Like, we all searching for the same acceptance, but for somehow, like, again, the algorithm, right? It's what you subscribe to. It's what you subscribe to. You got the media telling us that we are going against each other. That there are women who don't appreciate good men, and there are men that don't appreciate good women.
I had a question I was going to ask you from way earlier in the convo, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just going to rephrase it, right? Because I don't remember how I was going to ask you, because you said a specific statement. I was going to say something, but we all chiming in. BMT, what's happening, man? You in the building. I don't know if you know, but
What up, fam?
What's happening, man? Thanks for tapping in. What's happening, no capping. I was going to say, do you think that love is a universal language?
A universal language?
No. I don't. I think.
You want to explain why she gets her thoughts together? Why you don't feel like love?
I would say this. Okay, I hope this comes out how I want to. I hope
Go ahead.
Love is like. I don't know how to explain this. Okay, there's different languages in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different cultures, but we're all humans.
Right.
So what I mean by that is we all have a universal love, but we translate that love differently, right? So you may translate your love with physical touch, or you might translate your love with acts of service, or you might translate, you know what I'm saying? But the
love languages,
the root of that hair follicle, that love right there at the root is universal. The depth of it, the willingness to do anything for it, that is universal. The desire for it is universal. But how we approach that desire, how we translate that desire, I feel like that's not universal. I feel like that is based on the person, and it's specific to the person. So it's almost like saying yes and no.
All right. I mean, I agree to what you were saying, Mona, for the most part. I just think that so recently I made a post that I saw that really resonated with me. That
I'm listening. I'm gonna cut my camera off real quick because I'm a little hot in this sweater with this wine.
I know it's the alcohol for real. Go ahead.
But you know the old saying, reading is fundamental, but it's really comprehension is fundamental. It's how you receive information.
I like that.
Or how you understand or perceive it. That is what is fundamental, and it's the same thing with love, in my opinion. Like how you accept love from people, or the way you want to be loved, is going to be different per person. Like some people are going to be want to be showered with gifts. I mean, it's still going back to the love languages, of course, but like it works both ways. Like, you know, how you express love and how you receive love may not be the exact same things, and that's something that's okay. It's something that's actually, like, once you understand that and have that understanding of yourself, you know what more to look for, because you know to say, oh, I see you give love in this way. That is what I need. So that's what I'm going to pursue. And you know to avoid people that don't give you that. Like if you it's a big difference between knowing what you want versus what you need. Like if you know what you need, then the wants just, like, you know, they're just complementary. But once you find that exact formula for what you need to be happy and what you in a relationship or within yourself, first of all, because that's most important. But that's when you really are more susceptible to finding people that love you the way that you need to be loved.
I feel that. BMT, do you want to chime in real quick?
Yo, hey, what's going on? So, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Respect to everybody on the panel. Much love. Shout out to my brother, Con, for doing this show about being corny. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. There's men and women that are corny, no matter the size, the color, the hair, or the background. There's all types of corny weirdos out there. As far as it goes, when it comes to love language, it was said that it's universal, but it's not, because then that means there would be one universal remote that one remote can fit all. and that's not true because everybody has a different depth or something. Like I know some dude, they'll say I want a gangster bitch. Other dudes say I want a church girl. Some people say, nah, I don't even get down like that. I'm boring. I like boring, and some people they like chaotic. That's why I said it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Some people fine with being baby mamas, baby daddies, and husbands and wives. Like that's why I say that's why when you notice the algorithm of alpha male, female, all that stuff, everybody got to learn how to run their home accordingly to how they see fit. Like every woman ain't out there looking for a good guy. Every man ain't out there looking for a good girl, and vice versa. I know people don't want to hear that bedtime story, but that's what we were told for a depth perception of what is a relationship. And I speak on this, but I got at least about 15 years in the game on running a household. So I don't really speak about this unless for my homie. Now, I respect the sister in taking care of her child. There are some women who have a kid and they don't have to be a mom. They can be like, you know what? I didn't want this kid anyway. Let me just pass it off to somebody else. She chose to take on that role. Respect to that mother that's doing that. In the same sense, when it has it where a man, women understand I can't make that man be a father. He has to want to be a father. I can't make that man want to be a husband. He has to want to be a husband. Same thing for men trying to say, well, she didn't want to be a wife. Well, nigga, she probably don't see you as that husband role. And that's the thing about it. Like, you may think you are, but you may not be the right fit. And see, when you try to force people and pull a Will and Jada, that's when people start getting rocked up in the game. And then they start looking all goofy. The kids start acting all weird and stuff because you're trying to force a narrative that just ain't there. So, yes, Will, I get it. You know, here's the thing about it. When we get older, we can rebuild. It's called buildanigga.com, where I was corny in school. As I got older, I started to fix myself, maybe start working on myself, maybe pick up playing the drums, maybe start getting the stuff that I stopped caring of the validation. Now, this is why you have it. I'm going to show it right here. For some of the fellas, when we were in anime, everybody black wasn't rocking with anime. Now we made it to a certain height in our life where we got money, certain type of class, certain type of movements going. Now, anime's cool. Anime's all no. When we were corny, it was corny. Now we on our own movement. Now it's trending. Same thing for the sisters. Now there's a pushback to the sisters. Because at one time, being the church girl, being the girl who couldn't, afford the baby fat or the nice gear, you were the lame, you were the corny girl. You were the church girl. You were the girl that smelled with the stink breads and all. But all of a sudden, after summer break, you came back and you was popping. You might got some fresh gear and stuff. Now all of a sudden, niggas starting to check for you. But they weren't really check for you. They just wanted to get at you. And see, that's the thing about it. Like, it's a transition of the ugly duckling phases in life that people just don't want to actually understand that, there's no one set way. We're the latchkey generation. So we weren't actually purposely raised on how a household was supposed to be. I know we go off of the granddaddy and the grandma thing, but that was a forced cohesion. Let's be real about it. That was a forced cohesion. Minute all of a sudden they started getting. See, I could talk on this. When women start saying, I don't have to stay here and get my ass beat or deal with this drunk nigga. So guess what? They said, well, shit, I'm out.
God,
and
you're hitting right. No, that's hitting right there.
But the same thing for the man. But also on the same side for the men. Some of the men were told that, hey, oh man, I lay with this woman, I have to marry her. That's not true, fellas, because then again, you also forcing something that you really don't want. And when people start actually being realistic about this, people get mad. Like I'm hearing people say, I want a traditional home. Nigga, you not traditional. You wasn't from a traditional time. Like, stop that. Like, ain't nobody out there building cabins and shit and chopping firewood and fighting hogs and stuff. Like, let's not do that. We are all modern men and women. We have rights. We have society. We have laws. But people like to say, nah, we need to go back in the day. Nigga, stop that, bro. No. Nigga, no. Like, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, we got options to choose. So the thing about it is this, like, yes, I feel Michael B when he checked her and said, hey, you wasn't rocking with me in the paint when I was a kid wearing the felines or the corny shoes. Y'all weren't rocking with me. So don't pretend like you with me now. But I also will tell brothers like that, when you make it and you're successful, don't let that moment rule over you. Let you be better and rule over the night, rule over the day. Show them that, hey, yeah, you got me. I see a lot of kids that used to tease me, call me buck tooth and all that shit. Now that I'm big swole and I'm living my life and I'm loving everything about myself, you can't touch me. That's why I don't got no smoke for Lizzo. When Lizzo be out there saying, hey, I love me, I'm this and that, y'all don't think they want to call that girl fat and all kind of names? Now she a millionaire and she got men offering to lick her feet. She like, kiss my big fat ass. And guess what? She can talk that shit now. But also, part of it, you see the damaging part is that it's overcompensating and toxifying her, where now she's just doing it and then it's ruling over her. We got to get past that. So that's all I had to start it up with. But respect to y'all. Let's get it.
Okay, let's get it. He fired up.
I gotta get out of the tournament mode. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, bro. I wish. Hey, bro, good job in the tournament, by the way, man. You did a great job.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
That
so let's
part where he was talking about
what?
the difference now, the modern now is that people have choices, men and women, right? Like he said, women don't have to, it's different. Like it's evolved. Like women back in the day, they was concerned about how they was going to pay their bills and finances and where was the kid. Now women work and shit. It's way different. Like we're in this weird space because it's all evolving. We're just all evolving. Men are evolving. Women are evolving. Like we all trying to, we all want love, but we're both evolving, like both sides. We're trying to find this different dynamic. And like he said, back in the day, that shit was forced. I mean, back in the day, it was okay to be miserably depressed in your relationship because as long as you were married. Now, it's like, nah, I have a choice on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the only thing I wish more people were comfortable with that, because what happens is a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. And you have one person, like, for example, me, when I'm in my relationship, like, I'll be ready. I will have that hard conversation. Like, look, I can tell we're not on the same page and you're not ready for what I'm ready for. And I don't want you to try to force yourself to stay here. So why don't we just figure out something else? But you have people who are so uncomfortable with that they will do everything. And that's really what happened to me. Like, no disrespect. Like I said, I forgive my, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, but just going over.
Right.
Just for the lessons of it, I had those hard conversations. Like, look, through tears, like, look, I'd rather free you from this situation than for you to stick here and to end up hurting me, because that's what's going to happen. See, people are uncomfortable with that kind of conversation. So for him, he's only used to the way that he's thought, right? So the back way, right? Where you stay no matter what. So he's like, no. And guess what ends up happening? He ends up doing exactly what I knew he was going to do, because I can see that this person is not ready. They're unhappy for whatever reason. I may not be able to get in his head, but I can see physically that somebody is not ready and that they're not happy. But people are so like, I wish we could all get on the same page that it's okay to say that this isn't working right now. That doesn't mean it won't work later, but I wish people were more comfortable on both sides with saying, you know what? We've reached a point. And unless you have another idea or solution, like, that's how we end up hurting each other. That's what I feel like. That's why there's so many bitter and hurt people. I feel like people are afraid to let go and they're afraid to stop. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I've been known for. I used to think it was bad, right? My ability to see when something was done, right? And to say, I can't, there was no guilt tripping me into staying. Like I was not like that. And I used to think it was a bad thing. But now I know that that's actually that's a good thing, to be able to have those hard conversations, because it takes balls to come to somebody that you love, you want it to work out, especially having a child with them. This is my first child, so you want it to work out. But it takes courage to say, I see you in as much suffrage as me. And I know that you're not as comfortable enough to say it as I am. But unfortunately, everybody's not in that space, and everybody can't, like you said, back in the day, it's about staying. It's about staying. Some people hold staying over everything. Well, I stayed. I stayed. Yeah, well, while you stayed, you manipulated, you gaslight, you cheated, you know what I'm saying, because you were unhappy. So it's like, oh, I wish that people would we're evolving, and we're in this odd ass space. Like, we're in this odd space because men are evolving, women are evolving, and all of it is changing because women are not in the same positions anymore. Right. You have, back in the day, it was way different. Like, it was way different. Your man was the head of the household, not because he had a choice, but because he had to be, because women didn't make half as much. Like, it's way different. It's way different, and mindsets are going in different places. Like, I also learned something recently that really shocked me. Like, it's gonna sound funny because you would thought I knew, but I've never felt weird about making more money than the man I'm with. But I've learned that men feel very fucking weird about that, and they act very weird about it. Like, it bothers them. Like, I actually could damn near see myself being a sugar mama. I enjoy that amount of like. I mean, it's fun to me.
That's uncommon.
Let's
like, oh God, but I'm seeing
Let's say, oh God.
Now let's phrase that properly. Insecure men are affected by women that make more money than them. Not all men. Like,
I would enjoy coming home to my man. You know what I'm saying? Running my bath water and cooking dinner. Like, that shit is sexy.
You for real? Are you for real? Is that honest?
Listen, I enjoy making money. I like having money. I like being able to say, wow, I can afford these things. If it really felt like that, goddamn it, I'll put
You got some volunteers, by the way.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like that. So, okay, for example, I hope he ain't watching this. He a little crazy, but the guy that I dated before, I told you, was kind of he showed a lot of abusive sides of himself. But I feel like he mentioned something about independent women, like they feel like they can do whatever they want, and I'm like, that's odd, because for me, I don't know. I don't care about the finances. Everybody's different. For me, how you treat me is more important than how much. Like, for me, that affection and you're not missing on opening my doors. You're not missing on pulling my seat out and calling me, shea butter, whatever else. Like, all that shit, I yuck that shit up. I love it. It's like money. It's money, okay? I fucking love it. And so that is more valuable to me. It really is. And I don't mind making money. I like making money. So it's like, I don't see the dynamic, but I'm running into stuff. Like, I'm starting to learn. Like, my coworker had to tell me it doesn't matter that you're comfortable with it. Men are not comfortable. You can't go into a man's mind telling him to be comfortable with something he's not comfortable with. So I had to learn that, you know what I'm saying? And then I didn't even know what tax bracket I was in. I didn't even know that I made more than. So it was like, okay, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? So she the type with dead ass. No, that's me. Back of my man, feet rub, paint my toes, roll my blunt.
Paint your toes?
Why not? Give me the intimacy. I'm paying for the act right.
That's right.
And I have no fucking shame about it. I have no shame about it, okay? None. None. If I had the world, let me stop there because now my wine getting to me. I ain't gonna say that part. But the point is, I'm ready for the social constructs to change. I'm ready for the evolution. We're already evolving. And I wish that, for me personally, I wish that men would be more comfortable with the evolution, right? Because I think what's happening is, because women are not dependent on men in the same ways, that I feel like back in the day, all you had to do was be able to provide for women. Back in the day, you might, good looking and be able to provide, and that was enough. You didn't have to have all this extra ass emotional fucking maturity.
But you did, man. Like, you got to think about it. Imagine your man having to go out and being called a boy, a nigga, and all kind of shit by people who ain't even at his level of intellect or even his age. And he got to get spit on, probably jumped, and still walk in there with the pay, worked 40 or probably 60 hours, and still have to put on a game face and say, we're going to be all right. And that takes a high level of discipline. And when sometimes some men, they could say, we're going to be all right, baby. I just got to go pick up some extra hours, or I got to just go do some extra work. Hell, even the women, black women and black men always been working and busting their ass like goddamn no tomorrow. And the thing about it is, sometimes these men, they get drunk and they get abusive. We're not going to shy away from that. And that's the thing that did happen. That's why a lot of women say, "Yo, I'm getting the fuck out of here." But then also in the same sense, you also had it where some men, they just sucked it up. Like, listen, hell, you had it where some women going in. You had it where some women brought in another child from another household. Maybe the mother couldn't keep the kid, but they didn't have enough money, or maybe that they have power stuff. So you know what happens? Earl, we can't, this is a baby. We can't put him out on the street. Fuck. We already got 5 enough, and you and me, that's 7. Come on, man. We're going to find a way. And that's shit that people don't get. Like, this is why it's kind of hard nowadays, because you got to think. I watch girls, when I'm a little older than some people, I watch girls my age have to play mom for their brothers and sisters while their mom was out there working. Or if you was a brother, you were playing daddy, having to fight niggas in the street, having to raise your siblings, do hair, wash clothes, and all that good old shit. So by the time now they say, "Hey, y'all ready to raise a black family?" Fuck that shit. Nigga, I did that shit from goddamn 9 all the way to goddamn 17. Hell, my damn sibling living in my house now. Like, no, nigga, fuck that. The fuck I want to do that shit for? No, I did my marriage. I was married to my mama. Hell no. Y'all got that shit. Hold that L. Like, that's why a lot of these black children now, I don't got no smoke when they say, "I don't want to do it." But I had to take care of trauma bonding situation families. Now y'all want to put that on me now and say shit is sweet. No, but I get it. Some people, I push myself to do it because I do want the family. I do enjoy watching my turn. I do enjoy watching my churn. I do enjoy taking my kids to the dance. I do enjoy doing stuff. But also part of me is like, God damn, I ain't gonna lie, I hate this shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie about that. So it is what it is. So I'm never gonna tell a black man or black woman, "Go, y'all need to go out there and have babies, get married," bro. It's not for the weak. It's not for the weak.
It's not
for the weak.
Hey, man, look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I actually just had a conversation with my girlfriend the other day and saying, she was saying that she had overheard someone saying like the women of today are weak, and like the fact that we kid and stuff like that, and like, you know what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, because it's different. We're willing to be aware of the amount of responsibility. Like back in the day, I was gonna ask you a question, BMT, too, about that, because you said men did have to have emotional maturity, and you described it as discipline. But I wanted to ask you a question about that, because is having emotional discipline the same thing as having emotional depth? And what I mean by that is right? Being able to withhold yourself emotionally is not the same thing as being able to be comfortable with your emotional vulnerability. And what I mean by that, again, is tap in. Previous generation, right? Like my mother, right? She may see me as weak because I'm able to say, "Hey, what you're doing makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that. And let me tell you why." She's like, "Oh, you too deep in your," because back then they didn't have the luxury of being that soft or that sensitive. They didn't have the luxury of being like that. They had, like you said, they was going out against these other, white men, you know what I'm saying, calling them boy and shit. Withholding emotion for me is not the same thing as being able to manage your emotion as you let it out. It's keeping it in. And so to me,
I like this one, Con. I like this woman. Gigi. I like this one. I like this one. Y'all like, share, subscribe to this shit, bro. This is real black folks talk right here, man. We really on one with this one.
This is my first time doing something like this, and honestly, this is where I belong. But what I was saying by the difference, like back then, women have always been taught to be a little bit more emotionally deep. I don't fucking know why they did that to us, but they did. And we're just naturally women. We're hormonal. We have to learn our emotions hella early. It's different. But back in the day, what I'm saying is, men, I'm saying maybe, I'm not saying that I'm accurate about this, but I'm saying that men did not, because all they really needed to do to be seen as a good man, a well enough man for a woman was
just to provide.
Actually,
right.
What I'm saying is they didn't have to actually care about what the woman emotionally needed to be happy. They didn't have to care about that. See, I'm paying the bills and I'm going to work, and this is for you to manage. What I'm saying is now I feel like men are having to be, because women provide. I'm about to stop right now. Because
No. You good.
Because women provide for themselves in the way that men were used to be responsible for providing. Now, today, men are now being pushed to a boundary line with that, right? So now that's not enough. Now they're having to be forced to say, let me investigate, right, emotionally, not only with myself, because it causes them to be more emotionally in tune with themselves, but now they're also emotionally in tune with what the woman needs. Now they actually care, because now going to work and paying, that's not enough. Being masculine and macho, that's not enough anymore. Now we want you to care about we can do that. See, now, like for me, example, right? I'm a woman who's financially stable, who takes care of her own. I was just like that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, a man who has a bunch of money, he's not going to impress me. You know what I'm saying? I've had a man who was like prior NFL or some shit, and he like, oh, look at my shit. I'm like, you're not giving. It's boring. You know, it's not. There's no depth. There's no substance. I need substance. I'm unentertained, and that probably looks crazy to a woman who values a bunch of money. But for me, it's not crazy, because I don't value that because I have it. So now, if there's other women out there in the world, right? Because I would consider myself to be an evolved woman from that. If there's other women like that in the world that are like me, we're looking for emotionally intelligent, not just disciplined, not just that you hold it together, but we're looking for, not only can he tell me that he's upset, but the way he delivered it was hitting. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
Let me chime in.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Shit.
Yeah. So I got a lot to say, a lot of mental notes that I took. I appreciate everybody being here on this panel. Mona specifically, because I know you said you had a certain time limit. So when you got to tap out, please let me know.
I'm actually enjoying this, so y'all might have me for a little bit.
All right, bet. I think Juan ain't talking, but I appreciate it. But okay, so a couple of mental notes that I took, right? I actually think it's opposite of what Mona's talking about. Hold on, so the sapiosexual intellectual attractions. Facts. Love it. Yeah, facts. All right, so look, let me chime in. So one thing that I feel is that we're actually in an era where the men are actually talking about their emotions. I actually feel like it's the opposite. I actually feel like men for the longest time have had to adhere to how women feel, because like you said, they have been the providers. Like we have always had to been the one to appease the woman, regardless of if it was just the matter of fact that the expectancy was just, oh, I want you to give me roses. Oh, I want you to treat me out. I want you to buy me the house. I want you to buy me the dress. I want you to, whatever it is that makes me feel good, I want you to do that, regardless if he knows how to articulate himself well enough to emotionally affect his woman. He knew that he had to provide something to get an emotional response. I feel like this is the first time in the era where women are now put in the position of the men, where it's like, these niggas got feelings? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you mean to tell me that this nigga don't just provide dick and money? I gotta actually talk and understand and listen, and what? You crying? Like, it's a lot of, I feel like this era of this type of conversation is very brand new. Same thing like what you just said, right? Now that women are in a position where they have the money, yada, 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 right? That men have to now be put in a position where they're like, oh, I can't really affect her when it comes to the money, so let me come at her from the intellectual, emotional side. I actually feel, again, not true for the masses, maybe true for the select women like you who are a diamond in the rough on some Aladdin shit, you know what I'm saying? But on some being like BMT can testify. Last time I was on his channel, we had a conversation about the Black Lives Matter, about how one of the panelists felt as if, oh, well, look who's leading the Black Lives Matter. Look who's the face of all these black movements. Men leaders are not around. Men are not supporting black women. They don't support black women like they used to. And then my rebuttal to that was, okay, but last time I checked, the person who was representing Trayvon Martin was a black lawyer who was a man. You know what I'm saying? A black man. Last time I checked, it was a black men who are surrounding that black woman to have that stage to be of leadership. But from other people's outside perspective is that, oh, well, if men are not in leadership anymore, then men's value decrease. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, I don't feel as though when we're talking about the roles being switched or the feelings of what is like appreciated of a good man is the same of what it was back then, because we can allow a woman to lead. It's not every man that has a problem with a woman that's leading, but for a lot of women, in their perspective, if a man is not taking that mantle, then he's not a man, or he's not even around. He doesn't even exist. You could be the best helpmate, the best supporter, the best whatever, but if you are not the main stage, if you're not present, if you're not the breadwinner, if you're not those things, then you're not valued, you're not appreciated. You're being talked as if you're not even in existing. You're not even doing your part. It's how, if just think about it. What are the conversations being had nowadays? Where it's like, I'm not going 50-50. If I'm going 50-50, I might as well be with a bitch. How many women have said that? So it's like, even if a man is doing his part and supporting his woman, if it's 50-50, a lot of women feel like that's not good enough. You know what I'm saying?
I think it comes down to
let me finish my point, because I had a lot of notes from what y'all was saying. Last point is talking about the woes of men, just the same way we talk about the woes of women. The same way that you have 2 points. One, you said that when it comes to a woman being a mom, universally, it is expected for her to be a mom. It is expected for her to be there. It is expected for her to do her job. And I do not disagree. This is a fact. However, I also feel like universally, people believe in the good in women, in their intentions of them being good women, just the same way you said women have never had to been taught to be a good woman. I think universally we have been taught that all women are just good off top baseline. Every woman is a good woman, when we all know that's not true. When universally it's the opposite when it comes to men. When it comes to men, universally, oh, nigga, don't trust these niggas, don't talk to these niggas, don't give up. You feel me? Like, you already expect for men to be ain't shit, because every meme and every conversation is about ain't shit niggas. You feel me? So like, I feel that way. And then we talking about even the nerd space. I didn't even know that black nerds fucking existed until about 4 years ago. I thought that I was trying to look for a fucking community that I belong to. When I finally got into it, it finally got to a conversation of a lot of women that we found that were black women who were nerds, saying that, oh, if you was a black nigga who was a nerd and you was being passed up just because you was a weirdo, you was musty, you was yada, 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 that's the reason why women passed you up. That's why women didn't like you. That's why women made fun of you, right? But now, in hindsight, now we have this example of Michael B. Jordan, who is the opposite of that, who's the opposite example of, he's not unattractive, he's not corny, or at least depending on whatever your perspective of what corny is. He's not, musty. He takes care of himself. But because he was a nerd, because he was this person, he still was bullied. So a lot of times when a man comes to the forefront and say, hey, this is how I was treated, these are my woes, these are my problems, these are my emotions, this is the stuff that I got to work through, a lot of women discount that, because they don't, anytime that they have to take accountability, it's a deflect of, oh, well, what did you do to deserve that treatment? What did you do of why this is your reality? Kind of like similar to what you were saying, like when you said, oh, it's all about the reality that you give more energy to, which is the woman that said thank you or the woman who didn't say thank you. You feel me? But for a lot of men, that could sound tone deaf, because it's like, okay, so basically it's my fault for internalizing this trauma that I have. So all the millions of women who treated me fucked up, it's my fault for allowing that to affect me, because it was one or two women that actually gave me my credence, gave me some type of acknowledgement. You feel what I'm saying? So all that to say, that was everything. I had those notes in my head. I just had to get it out, and then once y'all chime in,
that was from your heart, Con. I felt that. That was from your heart. That was from your heart, bro.
I mean, I don't really have too much. That one is just, I am big on subscription, and like you said, I understand what you're saying for sure, 100%. I understand what you're saying for sure. I almost have to, for me, right? The reason why I don't get into this is actually interesting that I'm even on a live regarding women and men, because I've always told myself I would never get into the women and men category, the battle, what I'm saying? I always said, like, I'm not even going to subscribe to it. But I said it can't be any harm in some for the world to see a positive woman, because I feel like I'm a positive woman, and I would like to change that algorithm because I feel like it's pushed out there that, you know, it sucks that there's a lot of women that this is. I want to read this. Hold on. Oh, that was
Go back. I'm sorry. I finished that reading. Go ahead. I got it for you.
Yep. That's very true. I agree 100%. Yeah.
So with Thomas.
But you would be surprised to know that women actually go through that same thing, especially Black women. Black women actually are very taught as young, like even though we're naturally more emotional, so we have to be taught what to do with those emotions differently than a man. But as Black women, being sensitive is weak as fuck. Like my mom is still like that. like being, oh wait, you want to know what makes you really weak? Being emotional over a man. If you're emotional over a man in front of your Black mother, just know you a weak ass bitch, and she gonna make sure you know it. Right now,
that's how we feel. That's how Black men get taught about those. What you call feelings?
But now, to be fair, I'm gonna show you some real shit. A lot of our mothers, still to this day, Black men are still trying to gain that affection or love from their mother, but a lot of their mothers were not raised in an effeminate environment. So that's the statement.
Actually, right now, you know, God bless my mother. I'm working on myself. You know what I'm saying? That's actually a situation. That's what I'm going through currently in my adulthood, is having to understand that my mother's inability to give me affection is not because she personally dislikes me or hates me. It's because she don't know. She don't know how to give that to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man's crying because he wanted to settle down, learn how to use praise for wanting to live for life. I'm confused. I think that kind of stuff is very so. Both
would it bother you if a woman? Would it bother you if a woman told me as a boy, if a girl hit you, hit her back? Would that bother you?
Would it bother me? The only reason why you would teach a boy not to hit a woman back is because men are naturally fucking 5 times stronger than women. So if you actually cared about your son, you would teach him to try to maintain that shit as long as he could. Now, if she's out of line, she's out of line. But I'm saying you would teach her. If I had a son, if I had a child, I'm gonna make sure to tell him that he needs to walk out of the room and not swing back. And not because,
I know exactly where I'm going with this. And I feel you. I feel you.
No, wait. It's not because she's because she's a woman. It's just like I don't want my son to be in some serious, because the level of strength that men have naturally is like 5 times strong. I personally, when I was younger in high school, I had a guy friend. Our house that we stayed in we was all teenagers in that motherfucker. Okay, we was all in there, and one of our guy friends was like 2 times my size. I was curious. I watched Law and Order back then, SVU. So I was like, he fight somebody off of me. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, like, let's wrestle. I want you to try to pin me down, but I want you to be serious about it. Like, I want you to actually use your real strength, because I needed to know personally where I stood on the power scale. And let me tell you, it took him less than a minute to get me. It took him less than a minute, and I was trying with all my might. So what I'm saying is, yes, does it suck that men have to deal with that kind of shit, right? Women who think that they can.
We have to deal with that.
No. We have to. I'm just saying it sucks that we're taught that in general. Like I'm saying it's a double standard for sure. I'm agreeing with you that it's a double standard. I'm not saying that it's okay. And personally, I would never put my hands on a man. Like I'm agreeing with you that it's a double standard. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this: do you actually want to go to jail for accidentally killing a bitch? Is it that deep, or can you walk away? Because you will. It's different. Like, you guys are stronger than us.
I would say it's not smart, right? I would say that another conditional thinking that we've been taught through movies, TVs, shows, all types of shit, memes, all that shit. Women have been universally taught it's okay to put your hands on a man. Universally. Every time you watch a movie, if a man says something disrespectful, regardless if he was on the street and he gave a compliment that wasn't wanted, what do they show in the TV show? What do they show in the movie? She'll run up to him.
You're right.
Watch yourself. You feel me? And you gotta eat that. You gotta eat that because he a man. You know
Not
what I'm saying?
Not me. Not me. Not me. Jesus done saved us all.
I can't really get in this conversation. I don't really, I told you I'm not really.
Rest in your femininity, queen. Rest in your femininity. Rest in your femininity.
I'm not gonna give too much opinion about this. I've never personally felt like I've probably been put in enough rage one time to actually be like ready to get physical, and even then I was still in control of myself. It wasn't like I really felt like, yeah, I'm gonna whoop this 260-pound muscular ass man's ass. Like, it wasn't on no shit like that. I think that women have a rage that can exact a man's rage. Do we want to swing when a man disrespects? Like, I hate being disrespected. It does make me want to, go at it. But I mean, this is how God made us.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Phil.
No, sorry. I was just gonna finish my point. So when I said that about the examples of women being taught universally, it's okay to put your hands on a man because they're stronger. Because it is, like you said, 5 times stronger. Okay. So with that being said, right, you got cases like Johnny Depp, who his wife verbatim told him that, yeah, I cut you. Yeah, I done threw glasses of bottles and all types of shit at you, but you're a man. If you try to sit here and take this to court, you're gonna lose because you're a man. Like she made it seem like he's invulnerable to him bleeding, to him being hurt, no matter the amount of abuse that she gave him, because he's a man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women look at their man that way, where it's like, I'm your punching bag. I'm so strong. I'm so manly. I'm so all this shit. I'm your rock. I'm your backbone. I'm your support system that I can endure all the bullshit that you give me. And I don't need no type of healing. I don't need no type of sympathy. I don't need no shoulder to cry on, none of that, because I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? And then the fucked up part about it is just the same way that you said women have always been taught to be more emotional. The fucked up part about it is that a lot of women, because they've been taught to be more emotional, they know how to directly fuck up a man emotionally, because a man was not raised to understand his emotions to combat the woman who is more superiorly intellectually in tune with her emotions. You know what I'm saying? So every woman knows exactly how to piss off their men, how to fuck him up, how to make him cry in a corner, because they like, oh yeah, I got you. So I might not be stronger than you, but I can fuck you up mentally, emotionally. And that's why a lot of men shut down and don't fucking talk. And that's why a lot of men say, you know what? I don't give my emotionally sanctity to a woman the same way that a woman doesn't give away her physical sanctity. This is my only fucking safe place I have to myself that women will take advantage of if they understand what are your soft spots. You feel what I'm saying? So when you sit here and you say, I want a man that's emotionally intellectual, we are almost never allowed to be in that space to even get to know ourselves or be comfortable enough to be able to reciprocate that kind of conversation with our partners.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree with that. Like, there are not a lot of spaces where it is safe for a man to convey or try to learn what his emotions are. But I mean, going into another tangent on this, but I think that anytime that a person is in a state where they can only convey their emotion through physical anything, I think you're a weak person. Like if you can't resolve a conversation through fighting and you have to swing, I think you already, well, one, that's admitting that you already lost that conversation, whatever it may be. But two, it just shows that you are so weak in your words that you can't do anything else there. Like I think we people swing first, personally. Whether men or female or somewhere in between, wherever you attribute to. But
I had a situation. Speaking of that, sorry, were you done?
Mm-hmm.
I had to pause. I know I don't want to. I know you don't.
I thought you said you was just sitting down. Are you trying to jump in?
Go ahead.
Wait, about this though, just the point that he said that we people swing first. I was just explaining to somebody that there's different levels of like strength, right? There's different real strengths. Some of it is false strength, and some of it real strength, and usually there was a situation. I ain't gonna get too deep in my own personal stuff. You don't need to know all that, but there was a situation, right, Well, I'm gonna just tell you because I really don't give a fuck. I already passed it. So, the woman that was having an affair with the person I was with came to my house, right? And was like,
What'd you do, girl? You take off you wrapped up your hair and handle that?
Your house, anything at that point is
let me tell you, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna talk about it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she left that Christian. She left that Christian at the door, huh? You gotta go.
No, listen. I'm gonna go back to the point that he just made. There is a certain underlying strength there in certain people that you don't need to be like that, right? People will back down based off of your energy. Like you said about I'm not saying it's true for all, that all weak people swing for. I'm not saying it's true for all, but in some situations, like for that situation, it's specifically, I remember my partner at the time trying to keep me from going outside and addressing the girl because he was all nervous about, oh, y'all gonna get in a fight and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's already at my door now, so just let me do what I'm gonna do about it. It's too late for you to be trying to manage and all this extra stuff. Like, I probably didn't say it that nicely, but I digress. So I remember when I was at the door, I was like, the girl was really rowdy at the door. And I guess he was thinking as soon as I opened the door, and I was like, no, as soon as I open the door, she's gonna calm down and we're gonna have a conversation, she's gonna go home. And I was so fucking sure of that because I feel like there's different strengths. Some people,
you dropped your guard, didn't you?
The louder you are, the more dominant you are. But dominance and strength come from a deeper place than that energetically. And I feel like that's also a part of the reason why I've never gotten in a fight. It's because I'm assured of my strength. I don't need to be loud. I don't need to swing first to let you know that I'm about that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like literally, as I said, and as soon as I opened the door, the girl's energy went from 2,500 to, oh, okay. I was like, well, let's have a conversation. And she was like, all right. She went from fight mode to, because I feel like true strength it shows up differently. You know what I'm saying? You always know who is the most powerful in the room, and it's not always the most loudest person, and it's not always the first person to swing. So I feel like, yeah, that's it. That's all I want to say on that point.
So I don't know if anybody else wanted to chime into that, but I was going to chime in and transition to the actual topic at hand, which is Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And what steamrolled this conversation. So what makes a man corny? That is the topic at hand. This is based off the interview that Michael B. Jordan had with a girl he used to go to high school with that used to call him corny. And now that he's successful, she's giving him his flowers. And he kind of just held her accountable. And the world is pretty much having a reaction to him doing so, calling him corny for doing so. So I'll play a couple of videos.
You're calling him corny?
Calling him corny for calling her out for calling him corny. So yeah, that's the thing. So we're going to look at a couple of videos of how that interaction happened.
Science in Newark, okay?
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. Michael B. Jordan calls
Okay,
nice, corny guy. And I don't mean that as a slight, right? I mean, we all know that the nice, corny guys treat you the best. To be fair,
okay.
In high school, she used to make fun of him. To be honest with you, we teased him all the damn time because his name was Michael Jordan. Let's start there. And he was no Michael Jordan. And then he also would come to school with headshot. We lived in Newark. Yeah. Like that's the hood, you know what I mean? So we would make fun of him, like, what you gonna do with your little stupid headshots? Like, and now look at him. Well, Michael.
So how y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about that interaction, man?
I'm gonna let the man go first since I'm the only one.
I'll
go last.
I think he has a right to speak on the situation. I don't think he's wrong in that. I don't think he's wrong for addressing it to her directly. I think that is a thing that he deserves to do because, I mean, if that's something that really affected him in his youth, the only way to really get over something like that is to address it, especially to an aggressor of it. So, I mean, yeah, the people calling him corny for it, I mean, those are just people that you probably don't want to be around anyway. So, I mean, I thank them for pointing themselves out. But yeah, that's how I feel about it personally.
Okay, BMT.
Give me a second, bro. Go, you take it, and I'll come after you.
No, you good. Go ahead, Queen. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think that it's two sides to it because it's hard. So I think it was weird. The whole culture of that was weird anyway. Like that whole thing was cringy to just watch, to be honest with you. And the whole culture, like what she said about like we were joking on him for having headshots, that shit is so lame. I think people used to joke about any fucking thing. I mean, you could have had sandals on and like any fucking thing. That's just so stupid. Like nowadays, you're praising the guy at school who does headshots to do acting. Like that's big shit. Back in the day, everything was just corny, apparently. As far as him addressing it, for me personally, would I have addressed it? Well, it's I agree with you actually, because she did say we go back. So she tried to make it look like they was
y'all just
that's the only reason why I would say he's not corny, because for him, he probably really internalized that teasing. Little does she know, he probably remembers that fucking teasing, and he wanted to correct it right then and there. I don't think that he was trying to bully her back, but that might have been a validation for other kids in the world who are going through bullying, and maybe he's did that for that point. Maybe he corrected it for that point to let motherfuckers know, like, you know, keep being yourself, because this is the type of validation you get at the end of the day from yourself. You get your own validation personally. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about these other people. That, I mean, hey, like you said, I mean, it would have been fake of him to act like he didn't remember. He obviously very much remembered how she treated him and what she said. And he made it a point. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what made him corny, because if it was them headshots, then she's corny, to be honest. Like, what else? Was there something else? Because headshots? Like, the man wanted to be an actor and he was corny for that. That's weird, but I guess that's the mentality.
My thing is, I feel like it's cool for women, bro. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a woman shames a man, I don't give a fuck if it's in public. I don't give a fuck if it's on social media. I don't give a fuck if it's like what time and place it is. Most women get applauded for shaming men. If a man goes in the DMs and he's thirsty, oh, I'm about to blast him on my social media. Look at this man trying to holler at me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. When a woman blasts a man for his behavior, she's applauded for that. But the moment that a man does it, it gets looked at as, oh, he's corny. Oh, why did he have to go that route? Why did he just keep it classy? Why didn't he keep it pushing? Like, oh, you too soft for that. Why is it okay for women to hold men accountable for our actions, and they tell us, hey, men, hold other men accountable, but when we do it, it's come on, bro. Are you serious? I was from high school. Now the problem is, in the whole time, a lot of people think that this was just based off of high school. No, she has a whole channel where they talked about this man being in today's time. So it's like a lot of people are still going. This ain't old trauma. You still own my ass. Like, since we've been kids, like, you still trying to bully me from a distance, and you're not even on my level. And he didn't even disrespect her. He didn't say, hey, you know what I mean? You ain't shit.
Hey, Michael be doing his shit. So I ain't got nothing to say.
He said, you the corny nigga, right? That's what you feel me? And she even hold herself accountable. She like, oh, it had to been misquoted. What? And then she doubled down on
that. That's what I'm saying. She corny.
Come on, bro.
Honestly, she would have been better off saying, you know what, I respect your hustle and I apologize for that. You know, I'm glad I see you. Like she would have been less corny for that, honestly. Because I mean, he did address it in a very respectful way. So she would have been way less corny to just, I'd have been like, you know what? I'm gonna have to take that L. I definitely called you corny and look at you stunting on me now. But see, I have humor. So I would have just addressed it with some humor. You know what I'm saying? You out here stunting on my black. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Here I am interviewing. You know what I'm saying? The man I thought was corny. Here it is, y'all. Right. In 4K. Corny people gonna make it. Stick with them.
And you would have appreciated that type of humility. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that the world sees that type of exchange, and they are more concerned about how the woman feels about being embarrassed, being called out for some bullshit that she did, versus being like, yo, Michael B. Jordan, that's fucked up that you used to get booed. Nah, you a grown ass man, bro. Why you still holding on to little petty kid shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, with that,
go ahead.
I would just say, like, people are stupid, right? So, like, valuing their opinions on things like that is also kind of stupid, right? Because, like, these are, like, we live in a country where we literally voted for Donald Trump to be president, and you expect, like, the masses' opinions to be, like, good? Why? Why would you possibly think that was an option?
I think the reason why people might have tried to call him corny for addressing it is because of the status that he's at, right? That the level of accomplishment that he's made. I think the reason why people may have tried to call him corny for addressing it was mostly for that. Like saying, like, you know, I like to say for me personally, the best revenge is class. And I know people hate to see it, but it's honestly true. Ain't no way to make a motherfucker sicker than being unbothered. I mean, it's true. It actually shows, you know, but that's a good thing because we're in a new generation, and it's okay for him to show how.
Can you say that again for the folks in the back? How you say it again? You some of your ancestors saying that.
It came up out of me. I'm saying it made people sick. It made people sick, and I handle shit with that all the time. People be ready to take me out because I don't come back the way that you came at me. It's always gonna be with class and grace for the most part. And like, I think when God has blessed your life so much, I mean, why do you even? You know, I get it. I'm on both sides because it's like, why do you even care that some little corny girl from high school? You know what I'm saying? This man is at his what is that? Was it Creed in the background? The man is directing movies and he felt the need to correct at this point, a peasant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I get it. I get both sides.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying they're not human, but I'm saying I'm human right now, and I'm broke compared to Michael B, but I still have class. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not that they're not human. It's that it goes back to what I mean about characteristic traits. Money can't define my character. Being hurt can't define my character. I'm still gonna try to be the same person that I was born to be and who I feel divine to be. That's me. So, you know what I'm saying? I've been bullied my whole life for talking too much. Now, if I get fucking famous for the level of ability that I have in my speech, am I going to look back at everybody in my family and be like, nah, but remember you used to stay? No, shit, boy, I'll tell you, go eat my steak dinner, you know? I mean, I don't know. So I get both sides. I also feel like he is within his right? Because if he was obviously very affected by it. I mean, you saw the look in his face, like he felt like he needed to. So obviously that was
his arms was closed the whole time. You feel me?
So I'm actually very happy for him because, like we were talking about earlier, about men having the ability to be emotionally vulnerable. That was him being emotionally vulnerable. That was him showing his vulnerability. Like, he's showing you that he has that emotional vulnerability. He's showing you, because that's all you do when you respond to people like that, is showing that it bothered you.
Right.
But that's okay, because nowadays a man can be bothered and emotionally hurt. You get what I'm saying? It's acceptable now. So
I don't know about that.
But it should be, is what I'm saying. He's evolved. he make enough money. He has the luxury to be emotionally vulnerable. Okay,
I feel like that's a very interesting thing to like make a meme or something. Like, how much does a man have to make in order to afford vulnerability? That's deep.
well, it's the same thing for it's how women. I don't know if you in a group of women, but women say the same thing about being soft. It's a luxury to be able to be soft. It's a luxury to be able to live a soft life. And
Controversial, like thinking that I have. Yeah, I know you're not going to agree with me. Most people don't agree with me. I don't believe in masculine and in feminine energy. I think that we're all human. We all feel things that are either positive or negative that make us react a certain way. I think that it is toxicity in itself to mask a man's emotion to call it feminine, or mask a woman's emotion and call it masculine when they've been affected by something that has forced them to be on the defensive or forced them to be in a position where they have to take care of themselves or wherever the case may be. It doesn't make a woman less of a woman because she pays bill or because she takes care of her kids by herself or whatever the case may be. I don't think that makes her masculine. I don't think that makes a man feminine for him to be vulnerable and be supportive and be, a helpmate to his wife. I think that conversation alone of putting gender roles on emotions is confusing people on how to be human, how to support each other in general. I know that's like I said, it's controversial, but this is my own personal mindset. So that's how I feel about it.
I think they definitely categorize emotions with feminine and masculine. Like you said, they gender rolled it. But I think that every human has both. I think that men have sides. They have femininity and they have masculinity, and women have masculinity and femininity. I think that, but we didn't set those standards, right? We didn't actually write down and classify which ones are which. The society classified which emotions are feminine and which emotions are masculine, but also nature classified them too, because when you look at the way a man reacts to things and the way a woman reacts to things, they're very different and they're going to be similar based on gender. So science, some science don't lie. That's just how it is. So I think that all people have both in them. And what happens in successful couples, is that there's a balance, right? So she's just leaned enough in her femininity and in her masculinity that just happens to complement the way he's leaned into, his masculinity, his femininity. So I think that I think a good relationship is where both people feel comfortable to be able to thrive in both energies. You know what I'm saying? The man feels comfortable being in his femininity. Maybe he likes getting his nails done, his hands manicured, and that's something that, may be classified as feminine, but his woman loves that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's a balance. It's about, that's all it comes down to. We all have both, in my opinion. We all have both sides. And men want to be adored the way men want to be, saying? They want to
it's only a woman's holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like, universally, women believe that Valentine's Day is just for them. That you only supposed to celebrate and treat out your woman on Valentine's Day. It's not a mutual thing. The woman shouldn't have to give him a gift. It's not acknowledgement, gratification. No, this is my day. The same way that not women, but universally, everybody looks at the wedding and say that's for the woman. It's not for the man. It's for the woman. You're supposed to do everything to make the woman happy for her wedding day. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know. I feel like that stuff mostly comes down to the fact that women are just way more fucking emotional. And I'm just
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true. Women are more okay. Wait, what I mean is, I remember hearing somebody say that men are a lot more simple than women, right? Meaning that women have a lot more expectation. We have a lot more like this and that, and a lot more stuff is important to us than it is to men. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I don't think it's that men don't enjoy a wedding day as much, or value a wedding day as much as a woman. But a man doesn't need to know that his socks are blue all matching with the groomsmen, and that his hair is matching with the groom. Like women are just a little bit more detailed in their desires, and I think that's what it is. I feel like it's important for a man too, but just at the end of the day, women, we're a little bit more extra than men. You know what I'm saying? Like Valentine's Day, I can give you a watch and you be like, "Oh my God, baby, thank you." But women, we feel loved with them roses petals on the floor and the bathtub and so I think it's classified that women are more served on those days, not because men don't deserve to be served, but because women just naturally we care a little bit more about that shit. Like a man's not gonna go fucking crying if he doesn't get flowers on Valentine's Day.
But that's what I'm saying. Though. I think that's because it's a conditional thinking because we've been told that it's their day, so we don't even expect to get shit back. Like when we do get it back, we get weirded out. What the fuck is going on? Why did you do this? Like we don't even know how to. I don't even know what you're doing right now because
it's Valentine's Day, so I don't know. But the point is,
really wild, man. And I apologize on behalf of all men that you have never had a Valentine's Day.
I don't apologize. Actually, Valentine's Day.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a pagan holiday. You know what I mean? I'm a religious type man, but I do celebrate Black Love Day, and I celebrate whatever partner I'm with every day. So it's not really a flex to go on Valentine's Day. You feel me? But my thing is that I don't think that men are not taught to appreciate or value themselves of what they contribute to a relationship. Every time, like I said, even if we're talking about manhood and talking about fatherhood, we are taught that it's expected for us to provide, expected for us to do these things of acts of service and things of this nature. But when it comes to it's our day? What our day? Like we about to get treated out? That is non-existent. When most men, and it's sad. Like people don't talk about this because they have no idea the level of depression that most men have. Like we talk about just death rates. Most deaths of men are like by suicide. You know what I'm saying? There are men who died like 90 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old. It had never been treated out by a woman, never been appreciated, never been like, yo, let me show you how much I love you today. You know what I'm saying? That's not a thing because traditionally that's not taught. So even though again to what Otis is saying, it's like, okay, well, we have some dumb people in society. Yeah, but we keep perpetuating the same dumb rhetoric. At what point are we going to speak up and say this shit is not okay? We do it for other communities and what they expect and how they expect to be treated back. I'm not going to say which communities those are. And the world goes, you know what? I'm going to respect that. But when it comes to men, or specifically Black men, it's deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I want to go into some tweets about.
I want to respond to that before we get off of it, because one, I mean, you're completely right in the sense that a lot of men don't even know how to find what they enjoy in a relationship to be able to have enjoyed it in the first place.
Oh my gosh, that's worse.
But I mean, in a sense, it's still partially our own fault too, just because I mean we still choose to deal with that, right? Like they're like the women that are the nurturers, the providers and stuff like that, they exist and they have always existed. But if you are only going after the ones that are a certain way, that's all you're going to ever find. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you're attracted to, that's all you're going to see. Like, and I mean,
like me being attracted.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like me being attracted to the men that seem to be attracted. Like, if I was really just thinking like that's all there is, then I would probably not ever think about dating or love or nothing like that. I'm like, okay, every man I get with, he gonna turn out to be abusive because that's been a pattern. You get what I'm saying? Or some sort of abusive, whether it be, going towards physical. I've never gotten that far because I'd be getting out before then. But I'm just saying, in general, I feel like also, I really had to clap it up on you on that one part. That's something that really used to frustrate me. So I feel like I'm one of the people, like, I want to know what you want, right? Like, I remember having this conversation, like, I want to do something for you, but I don't even know what the fuck you like, because you don't know what you like. Like, men don't take the same amount of time that women do to figure out. And I know it's not their fault. I feel like maybe they're just not taught to care that much about it. But that used to frustrate the shit out of me. Like, I'm like, I want to do something for you. I gotta guess and just guess and go at it, because he don't know. He don't know what the hell he want and what he like. And okay, you want something to do something nice for you. I don't even know what to do, because you don't even know what you like to receive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't just go and get you. You don't like flowers. Okay, well, women is a lot easier to shop for. I mean, you can get a smell good lotion and a motherfucking earring, motherfucking cheap ass watch. Fucking men is very hard. I found that for me, because I've only been in 2 relationships in my life. One in high school, and then my father's my child's dad. And let me tell you, my child, I was confused on every holiday and because I'm like, goddamn, I got to do math to figure out, because it's broadcasted what women like. It's not broadcasted what men like.
Thank you.
And then men don't feel. I actually got frustrated. This is something I had to experience. I'm like, men really just do not be talking about what they feel, because that used to frustrate the shit out of me. I'm sitting there for, like this, like waiting on an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like waiting for it to get. And that's something I really took from that, is that, I mean, patience, really. I had to have it's a lot of patience, because women, we used to just voicing what we need. I mean, we gonna voice that shit. Men, I feel like in my opinion, it's like they be afraid to say the wrong thing or to get the wrong reaction, so they just don't say nothing at all. Mm-hmm. And that, you, as an Aries woman, whew, the way we act, oh my God, you piss me. What do you want? Say it. I'm not gonna judge you for it. I just need to know, because I don't want to guess it. I don't want to start assuming and got to get all in the damn, equation of what you might be wanting. Just tell me. But men, I've noticed that men be really so traumatized that they rather just not say nothing.
Let me ask you a quick question, because you mentioned this is like a little bit off topic, right? Yeah. Do you think you can guess somebody's zodiac by their like personality?
Ooh, you know what? For me, I can guess one. I don't know about all of them.
Let me ask you a question. You already know what my zodiac is. What do you think his zodiac is? Because obviously we carry ourselves. We have different opinions about
him.
Yes, him, Otis.
Fuck. Okay, let me see. Are you an Earth sign?
Yes.
I'm proud about that. Just that one. It's the reservedness for me. It's the calmness for me. And the direct opinion, but I don't need to be loud about it. That's that Earth for you. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Shit. I want to say Taurus, but I'm not going to say Taurus.
No, not Taurus.
Because I don't feel like it's Taurus. I have to look. Hold on. I need to see. What's my other Earth sign options? I just knew it was Earth sign. What's the options? I'm not too good at all of them. I only know Taurus, and what else?
There's a couple.
I'm still learning the signs and stuff myself. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I just recently learned that my sign was an Earth sign in general. So I couldn't even tell you what the rest of them are.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look it up, because I got Earth from you. I'm just not sure what other signs. I don't think it's Taurus, but hold on. Earth signs. Let me see. So the Earth sign options are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
So what else you
think? I'm gonna go with Capricorn.
So funny enough, me and him have the exact same birthday.
You're a Virgo as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and him were literally born on the exact same day.
Wow. Yep. Okay.
The exact same year at that. Mm-hmm. But me and him have different perspectives about life and relationships and shit like that. Like, I think core values and shit like that, me and him get along and we see eye to eye. But obviously we have different walks of life and different perspectives about things. So it's funny. that people put a lot of value into like zodiac signs and this character, like, this is how you, I know exactly who you are. But if you was to watch this channel and not know what our signs were, you would have swear we were completely polar opposites, but we were born on the exact same day. So that's really all I wanted to bring out. I'm about to bring up some tweets by what some women said about Michael B. So Michael B. Jordan is cute, but doesn't have any edge. He just look IDK responsible. he looked like he know where his birth certificate is. It's funny that that's talked about like it's a problem. Like that's an issue. He looks, I don't know, responsible. Who has ever said like I've never heard responsible youth in a negative connotation. Like what?
I mean, that's just toxic.
I mean, exactly. Like you're getting toxic opinions from toxic people, so they're gonna have toxic viewpoints. Like, and unfortunately, toxicity screams the loudest on social media because that's what gets the most
so popular right
clicks.
Now. I agree.
But I mean, just because that's what people are talking about doesn't mean that's like everyone. Because I mean, a lot of people, when they see conversations like that and you just completely disagree with it, you're just gonna be like, I'm not gonna waste my time talking about this. I don't even want to deal with these type of people in the first place. So like, you go ahead and have your pity party collectively. I'm gonna go live my life doing something better.
Let me challenge you this, Otis. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be calling you Otis or Lelouch, but
it's fine either way.
Okay, so with that being said, right? Do you not believe that it is irresponsible for us not to respond or challenge these ideals because it seems to me that it shapes our society? That these type of tweets, these conversations, the social media that highlights all the negative, if we don't do our due diligence to combat it, like she said, balance, then it will be the overall tone of every relationship, every conversation, and how our adolescents are brought up. Because if we're being honest, we live in a world where social media raises kids. So do you think that we're just supposed to ignore and be like, these are the few idiots? Or should we speak out on these things because we're like, it's been too much of this being spread around? What do you do in response when you see these things? Are you just supposed to hermit crab and close the door and ignore it? Or do you take the mantle and say, you know what, I'll be the example and I'll speak out and I'll do X, Y, and Z to go against it? What is your ideas on that?
For me, I do this, right? I podcast, I get my actual opinions out into the air, and the people who attribute to that, like, who like what I say, I continue to have conversations with them. The people that go against it, I don't waste my time because they're not important.
Okay.
I get what you're saying about the whole addressing it. I also feel like when you talk about the children of the world, we are sponges of our parents, right? So if your parent subscribes to that, you are too. And, it doesn't mean to say that the world can't interact on your children when they go out to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they might still see the social media, but if you come home and your parents' energy is everything, right? So if I'm subscribing to that stuff, if I'm like in the banter of toxicity and all that shit and my child hears it, then they're 100% going to go that way, right? But if when they come home, mommy is not like that, she doesn't talk about, that, she doesn't subscribe to that, she's not all into the celebrity relationships, then my child's going to have a balance, right? She's going to have at least an opportunity to make a choice about what she decides to subscribe to. So it is important. I get what you're saying as far as like that's what they're going to see is social media. So at some point we have to combat it, but to be realistic, it would take a hell of a lot of a majority to change those ideals. I mean, not to have a give up mindset, but control what you can control is what I'm saying. Control what you can control. And that stuff is going to be there, and it's going to continue to be there. Actually, the more we comment on it, the more we share it
Yep,
and make discussion
exactly.
out of it, that's the more that it's going to be there. Because again, I go back to my favorite word in the world, algorithm. That's what the media and the internet is focused on. It's algorithm. It's about what gets the most buzz. So if a billion people are commenting on that post and that starts going worldwide, now everybody they're gonna flood the internet with it. That's what your kids are gonna see now, right? Because we're all gassing it. Whether it doesn't matter what kind of gas it is, you could be going against it combatively, or you could be agreeing with it. It doesn't matter. It's like all publicity is good publicity because it's publicity.
It's getting numbers.
So at the end of the day, the best control what you can control, which is what's closest to you, what's in your energy, what gets near your energy, because that's what your child sponges up the most. Your child might be on social media, but when it comes to where they need advice, where they need wisdom, they're going to come to you. Where they, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it is. Like, that stuff is going to be there. It's going to be there forever. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, for me, I know, because I think me and my best friend, we're probably like polar opposites. She'll get in a whole internet argument, you know what I'm saying, with somebody about a topic, and me, not at all, just because, I don't know. And actually, some of it is not great. I'm not going to tell him myself here because I almost told him myself. You guys are about to get on my ass. Actually, I might as well. I don't mind a little critiquing. Okay. But my dad has been pushing on me to vote. I don't want to say I don't vote. I have not voted, which is two different sentences, right? I don't vote is saying that I have some big issue with voting and I choose not to vote because I feel. I have not voted means I just haven't voted because it hasn't been on my mind. It hasn't been the thing in my mental, and it bothers the hell out of my dad, right? And I explained it to him as this. I focus on the things that I can control, the things that are directly in front of me, the things that are direct responsibilities of mine. When I get to a level of, I don't know, tax bracket where these laws are actually affecting me, then I will give up. Trust me, when I own a business, I'm going to give up, you know what I'm saying? But right now, I can only focus on what I can focus on. And I won't lie. I know this is going to get me in trouble with the community. I know, because they be talking about, I'm the person that they be talking about, baby. Like, they be like, y'all be thinking that you don't need to vote because it don't matter. But for me personally, I feel I probably am who they be talking about, because I really feel like they going to do what they going to do anyway. They have all that money. They have all that control. We don't really know. Unless I can see who's counting the ballots and who's who and what they're doing behind closed doors, I just feel like I could vote for somebody, but for all I know, that somebody could have been placed there by somebody else. And I know that sounds kind of conspiracy theorist, but I'd rather not have that headache, and I'd rather focus on what I can control right in front of me. And it's the same thing with social media. I try to focus on what I can control right in front of me.
Basically, what I'm hearing from you is that we live in a sinful world that is full of negativity. And if you want positivity, then you got to exude that and control that within the world that your pocket of people exist in. And you can't really hyper focus on the external world that exists outside of the world that you operate in, right?
Absolutely.
I understand. Respect it. So we're going to move on to the next tweet. Says Michael B. Jordan is cute, but doesn't have any edge. But same tweet. That's crazy. Wait, is this the same person? That is the same person, different picture. That's hilarious.
I don't know what any edge means. She means that he's not dangerous enough.
So if you look at the picture that I used when I created this post,
does that mean Future has edge?
I used Killmonger in from Black Panther and Michael B. Jordan, his regular day life, because when we sit here, we talk about men or we talk about masculinity, it is said that the person on the right is who's desired, and the person who's all dressed up in the left, suited and booted, and somebody who's smiling is the person who is, considered not desired because they don't exude masculinity.
They're both
Um,
desired. I think that he's literally depicting a person who is like completely powerful as Killmonger, though. Like, look at those pictures. He's in a role. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In that picture, he's in a role. Like, I don't know. Women watch. We were brought up on Beauty and the Beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know. We were taught to like men that were all like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
But
deep.
he's still fine as in that left one too, with the suit and everything. I mean, maybe some women feel like he's corny in that. I don't think he's corny in that. So the suit probably costs more than my fucking car. The point is, I think that women are taught to, we're taught through movies, right? Damsel in distress. You got fucking cowboy who barely grunts a word in the movie who saves the woman. I mean, we are taught that those men are like, that's who we're supposed to be attracted to. I mean, look at all the movies that we've watched. You know, how many of those men are gruffy, scruffy? You know what I'm saying? Those are men, you know.
It's funny because I was arguing from the beginning of this conversation of how men suffer from how social media depicts men, but women also suffer from how social media depicts men, because y'all are also taught to what you're supposed to be attracted to.
We have to
So
unlearn
some
it.
of it's not just actually like y'all fault in what y'all like, but what you guys were taught to like. That's a good perspective.
We have to unlearn that macho. We have to unlearn that. We really do, and we only unlearn it through pain and heartbreak. Honestly,
I think that it's that perspective for women like you specifically, who are lighthearted and loving, that suffer because you were taught to love broken men, and you were also taught to be a healer. So, like you said, opposites attract.
Gone.
It's you're going to naturally attract a negative man because you were taught to heal a negative man. I mean, to give a little personal story about myself, I was told that from a woman that I had a crush on for years, that I know from high school. She had told me that she believed that God created her to be a healer for warriors who, after she was done with them, became better men. But when she saw me, she felt like I was already healed. I was already a good man. You feel what I'm saying? So she was already conditioned to believe that she had to deal with fucked up fuck boys and dudes who didn't appreciate her, because she was taught to, I have to heal his baggage. I have to heal his trauma. Whole time, a man who does have trauma but is choosing to be a good man, you're going to overlook because you know what, he's not exuding enough toxicity for you. You feel me? So like, it's an interesting topic.
I'm gonna get a little deep real quick. My shit is a little different and a little deeper. It's a little different than my reasonings for that is not based off of. So for me, as a child, I moved around a lot, and I didn't feel like a very important piece because I was so removable and so easily, I wasn't a stable piece in anyone's group, whether it was my sisters or my dad. Like, I never stayed close to nobody. So I think for me, what happens is it's feeling needed. Right. That pain and that hurt makes me feel like this person needs me. Right. They've voiced it, they've said it, and even if they haven't voiced it and said it, I can tell that I bring him peace. I bring him a sense of hope. I bring him this and that, but just I can bring him all that I want to bring him. That's not going to stop him from thriving in his pain, which will be taken out on me. Unfortunately. So I think my problem is, in order for me to feel comfortable, I have to feel like I'm an important piece. Like, I can't be easily replaced. And unfortunately, being an empath and being someone who does heal, who feels like a healer themselves, that does fuck me, right? Excuse my language. A lot of the times.
No, you good. No, it's
because of my trauma, right? So now I feel like, okay, say they come with that mask, they come with the lovey-dovey. I say, oh, he's capable of loving me in a positive way. But what happens is when he takes that mask off, right? When the mask gets a little heavy and he can't keep it up anymore, he takes it off, and I see the hurt. I'm like, well, it doesn't make me leave either, because now now it's a double whammy. Not only can he love me when he's in a good space, but now when he's in a bad space, I also feel like I'm needed, like I'm. And what happens is it can get so bad that I have to make a conscious choice, right? It becomes, which one do I have to deal with more? Do I have to deal with this darkness more, or is it, or like, what's the balance between the light and the dark? But for me, my reasoning for that is different. It's not just because I like broken people. This is not something I've known the whole time. Obviously, I told you I've been going to counseling the last year. But in my perspective now, I think the reason why I allow those men in, and the reason why my energy keeps pulling those kind of people in, those attractions, because it's not just men, it's friends too, and family members, people who feel like they need to, constantly asking me for things, taking from me, is because if they're asking me, if they need me, then I'm irreplaceable. That's what my mind thinks, but that's not true, right? Because the moment that I am, let's say, the moment that I'm drained, that I don't have anything anymore to give, that's when
they'll spice you.
Right. So they start to begin to treat me like I am replaceable, right? That's when I get cheated on. That's when I get maybe talked down to or abused emotionally. I mean, that's when that stuff comes out, right? That's when it's like, well, where is it? They're turning me upside down, and they're dumping the bag out, and they're shaking me up, because they're like, well, where is it? Gimme. And I don't have to. So that is my pattern. That is what I've dealt with in my life, because my energy is desiring of being belonging, right? Being needed, being important, being non-replaceable. Because my energy has been stemming from that trauma, I'm attracting people who will continue to make me feel needed, which means they have to be in need, which means they have to be broken. Did you see how it just...
Yeah, I see the connection.
So that's what made me stop and pause in my life today and say, I have to figure out first, right? The first thing to do is to get rid of that, right? To be able to feel validated, even if I'm not needed, right? Even if I am rejected, to still feel valid in the person that I am, right? Because once I do that, I won't have to feel needed to be loved. And once I do that, I'll be motherfucking free. But I'll let you know. Stay tuned, because we probably got a long fucking time. That's a lot of stuff to heal in one night, I tell you. But yeah, I suggest to everybody and their daddy and their mama and their great granny to go to counseling. Counseling is heavenly. And my problem is, you can't save everybody. You just can't. Not only does it benefit me right in those moments to feel needed, but I also genuinely am like that. I really do care. I really do celebrate other people's wins. I really that deeply invested. So when I get with these men, I actually do care about their feelings. I do care about how they feel. I'd be like, yes, let's go to counseling, boy. I'll go with you. But the problem is, they don't give a fuck about going to counseling. They don't want to get what they need from a counselor. They want to get what they need from me.
And then it's also just the fact that a lot of people don't actually truly want to heal. Like a lot of people, like, they say, like, yeah, I want to be better, just because that's the good thing to say. That's a thing that's appealing to people. But like, some people are okay with who they are. They're okay with the trauma that they hold. They're okay with how they treat people. And until you get to a space where you are malleable to new information, you'll never actually be truly susceptible to that counseling that you need, not even deserve, need.
I had to.
And I really appreciate everybody being on this panel. Even BMT, I know you're gone, bro. You look like you was working. This has been a beautiful conversation so far. I really appreciate it. Otis, I didn't expect for you to come on, so thanks for coming on, bro. We're going to go into the definition of what corny is, and then I'm going to do a little tap or cap. tap for if you feel like this person is corny, you give your reason why, and then cap if you feel like this person is not corny. You feel me? So
Yeah, but actually, I am gonna slide out here just because it's about 1:30 my
it's
time.
all good, brother. I appreciate you. Have a good
I was
night.
gonna say I probably got about another 10 minutes, so we can put
Oh, that's
it
cool. That's why I was trying to wrap it up. This is good. All right, then. I appreciate you. Otis, have a good night, brother.
Great show, great conversation. Nice meeting you, Mona.
Nice meeting you.
We'll be in contact. We're gonna talk.
Bet.
Right. Just me and you again.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, for sure. We can do it real quick. I just looked at the time too. As soon as he said that, I just looked at it. I said, oh.
That's why I was trying to transition. So we're going to sew it up right now. So this is the definition. Corny, so simple, sentimental, or old-fashioned as to be annoying. It sounds corny, but as soon as I saw her, I knew she was the one. So that is
this
what
is
is
so hard for me
defined
because
as.
I love corny shit. So
That's crazy. Yeah, always nice watching Con and nice meeting you, Mona. Oh, okay. Look, you got fans. Niggas was loving you today. You know what I'm saying? You might have to make another appearance.
I can't see none of that. I mean, I see the comments, but
that's the wine got you. You know what I'm saying? Real Queenie like.
I couldn't even see like how many people were watching. I didn't even try to.
We had a good amount. You know what I'm saying? I think you contributed to the attraction factor. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate you.
Well.
Oh. So we'll get into these last slides. This is just a tap or cap. Basically, do you feel like this person is corny or you don't feel like this person is corny? Just give a quick summary why. Nick Cannon, corny, tap.
If he's corny, I gotta tap.
Yeah, if he's corny, tap. Why is it corny? Why?
I told you how I feel about people who try to be something they're not. And when I see him on Wild and Out, he has to put in an extra step to be the coolest man on stage. And I don't like people like that. I think that he's corny. He's a corny man in general.
Okay.
Not by that definition of corny. That definition of corny, I'm into that. But I have my own definition of corny, so it's hard because that sentimental stuff, you know, like I knew she was the one. I'd be into that. But Nick Cannon is corny for sure.
Tap in.
All right, she tapping in with Nick Cannon. She think he corny. Me personally, I don't think Nick Cannon is corny. I've been a fan of Nick Cannon since a youngin. Even when he was an artist, which is extremely controversial because nobody thinks he's a good artist. But he did this one song where his mom was gonna abort him, and he talked about just appreciating his mom for not doing it. I know my mom had me at 16, and that song hit for me. She was crying in the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Nick Cannon's a dope dude. I think that he's doing things that a lot of black men should be doing. He's created jobs for a lot of black people who would not be on the platforms they will be on today if it wasn't for Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he has one of the longest showing TV shows on MTV that's ever existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the few Nickelodeon kids who are actually extremely successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's done a lot of things that he's pioneered.
He's a great person overall, but is his like behaviorally, like if I was having a conversation with Nick Cannon, is he corny?
But see, I'm saying, have you ever watched this podcast?
I'm not a fan of Nick Cannon.
So
I'm not. Let me tell you why. Like, yeah, he did all those great things, but like, how many broken homes has he created?
But see, are they broken though? Because he's providing.
Listen, I love that. I love this conversation right now. Oh, I've been waiting to say this my whole life. All my life. Listen, financial providence is not even nowhere near the same closeness as physical availability.
It's so interesting that you say that though, because what women keep saying across the board is that as long as a nigga can give me the money, give me the bag, that's all I care about.
For the woman, that's okay. What about the child? What about the child who needs that relationship?
I agree.
He can't be. I mean, it's just
I can't speak for the ones with. I can only speak for the ones without. Like, I come from the hood. I come from poverty. I come from jumping from home to home, and I can sit here and say that, yeah, of course, I would have loved a more close kinship with my pops. You know what I'm saying? But it would also been nice that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the majority of the clothes that I wore wasn't hand-me-downs and, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. Now, me, I've never been a materialistic dude. I have never valued my parents on based off of what they can provide. Never, not once. However, there are, for a child, when you are in today's society and you are around all these kids who get spoiled with the new cell phones and the tablets and the clothes and the new shoes, the Jordans, the whoopie whoop, and you just like you've been wearing the same outfit, you know what I'm saying, every so week, you changing them up, but you still wearing the same pants, the same shirt, and you switching them up throughout the week. That was me. You know what I'm saying? So like I can sit here and say that it is more beneficial for a man, for a dad to be not as present but to provide than to be a completely absent dad. Maybe he shouldn't get as much flowers as the dad that's present, but obviously this man cares about his kids. I mean, he talks about his kids.
Yeah, no, he cares.
He spends time with them separately, just not consistently like he lives in a one household. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'm not saying it's not valuable. Like financial stuff is valuable too. I'm just saying that it's irresponsible. What I'm saying is that it may not matter when you're young, but when you get older, the way I depend on my daddy is ridiculous, okay? And it ain't for the money. It's about wisdom. I be calling that man for wisdom every single day, and that's because we have a closeness. I live with my father.
That's how it
And
goes.
so that becomes more valuable than what you can financially provide. And what I'm saying is it's hard to be that many places at once. It's hard to have that many connections at once. It's hard to do it with one child. I mean, golly, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that, you know, when I say corny, I be responding to people's energy. A corny man can build an empire. Okay, he can have 1,000 businesses, but is he corny overall to me? Yeah, that man corny. Would I go on a date with Nick? No, I would. Cannon is corny. Period.
That's crazy. Okay.
That's just my opinion, though.
All right, we're gonna move to the next one. The baby.
The baby?
Corny or not? Tap or cap? Tap or cap?
No, he doesn't give me. I mean, I don't think he's a great man at all. I would never date the baby, but is he corny? I don't know. That's hard. That was hard.
Cap! That's cap!
I don't know enough about the baby. I don't watch enough about the baby. I guess I just don't know enough about him.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. We'll keep going because, like I said,
what about you? Corny?
Me personally, I think the baby's hella corny. Personally, I think he's hella corny because for any man to go on social media to embarrass his baby mama or to embarrass.
Oh, he did do that.
It's like me personally, like, I can understand from one side you're trying to protect yourself to say, hey, you know, if the cops come and say I did X, Y, and Z, look how she acted. I get that. On another standpoint, I feel as though he said deliberate things that was corny as fuck to me. Where you're portraying this woman to be this. You're portraying this woman to be this. Oh, she on your dick type woman. When at the end of the day, you still splashing inside of her. You still, you know what I mean, entertaining her and woo, but you want to portray for the other women or for social media that you don't really give a fuck about her. And I think that's hella corny, nigga. You don't get no.
I forgot about that entire situation.
You get no cool points to me for having a baby with somebody and then dogging them the fuck out or kicking them out your house. And then on top of that, now I ain't giving no excuses to Danny Lay. I'm just saying, like, if you are doing that publicly, I give no credence to anybody that embarrasses their spouse publicly. I'm talking about Jada Pinkett, any of them niggas. Anytime you publicly disrespect, embarrass your spouse, you're corny as fuck to me. You know what I'm saying? You're corny as fuck because you're looking for validation from the masses and not actually trying to work through your relationships. I don't give a fuck how toxic it is. So yes, that nigga's hella corny to me. And then like knocking niggas out in public, but that nigga only do that shit because he got security and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when he jumped her brother, nigga, you jumped that nigga, bro. You didn't shoot the fair one, nigga. But after he got done jumping the nigga came to somebody else's camera, threw up some signs like, yeah, nigga, I did that shit. You're corny, nigga. You're corny, nigga. Like you ain't shoot that nigga the fair one, nigga. That's not. You don't get no brownie points for jumping somebody, nigga. That shit corny where I'm from. So I don't know. That's
Yeah,
corny.
no, you're right. He's corny for sure. I forget that Dan Lee situation by itself is corny. So that alone takes the cake. So yeah, he's for sure corny. For sure.
All right, here's a big one.
Uh-oh.
Will Smith.
Hell no, Will Smith is not corny.
Okay.
No, that's a good man right there. He is.
Oh.
Is he goofy as hell? Yes, but
Cap! That's cap! That's cap!
Not corny to me. He's not. He's not corny to me. He's not. He's a man living in his true vulnerability and emotional intelligence, and I value Will Smith. Will Smith. I mean, did I agree with how he reacted in that situation with the whole slapping Chris Rock thing? No, but I also understand. I feel like he was having a mental break. Like I feel like he was at his max. Okay, so I forgive him because I feel like he's fucking human, no matter how rich he is, and he reached his cap. So, but overall, is Will Smith corny? Fuck no, not to me personally.
No, me personally, I feel like Will Smith is corny only because listen, I'm a fan, bro. Since Bel Air, since his Fresh Prince, since when he made music, since everything, bro. I'm a fan. Wild Wild West, all that shit. But get jiggy with it. I'm with all that. You know what I'm saying? But I think any man who allows a woman to play him out his position is corny. I know for a fact.
Yeah, we just got no conversation about that.
Will Smith is a man who stands on principle, who stands on this is my standard of what a man is, right? This is how I portray myself in social media. I have never, prior to Jada Pinkett, this nigga has never claimed Philly in a way where it's like, yeah, nigga, I'm about that life. Never. But the day that he slapped Chris Rock, he posted with his wife saying, yeah, this is what happened when you get a woman from Baltimore and a nigga from Philly at the awards. That was corny to me. Because you ain't never portrayed that type of lifestyle, that type of mantle until today, nigga. So don't try to allow your wife, because she comes from that type of environment, now you're going to try to find some type of kinship by doing something that's out of character. You're not that nigga. Now you're human. Now if you had did that shit, just like, look, y'all, I lost my cool. That's fine, but don't claim the hood all of a sudden and be like, you know what? Hey, y'all know what it's like. No, nigga, that's not you. You ain't never been that nigga, so don't let a woman change your identity and how you carry yourself and then be like, yeah, I'm from Philly. No, nigga, that's not you.
Maybe he just never portrayed. Like, is it true that you can't contain yourself your whole life and then have a moment where some of that stuff that you withheld comes out?
Mm-hmm.
That happens to me all the time. So I don't know. Like, I'm from the suburbs. That I have moments, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, what's the suburbs? You said you from Cali. What part is the suburbs?
Even in Sacramento, I lived in the suburbs. I lived in the suburbs my whole life.
What's that? Like Natomas?
I lived in like Greenhaven.
Oh, okay. I had an apartment in Greenhaven. I was like my second apartment.
And then when I lived with my dad in Southern California, I lived in like nice Pomona area, like Diamond Ranch. Like I've always been in the suburbs, okay? But that don't mean that when my anger get going, it don't come out as, you know,
got you,
below the lines. So my thing is with Will Smith, like, Will Smith is an emotionally abused man.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so any reaction that he has to that emotional abuse, he just wants his woman to love him. That's that abuse for you. Period.
But don't you think that at some point that's corny, that if somebody is consistently showing you that they don't love you in the capacity that you can love them,
but that's the thing about it,
that you gotta let that shit go instead of allowing that shit to corrupt you in what you stand for?
But he's been with Jada for what? For how long?
A minute. It's been a minute.
I was with somebody for not even 2 months, and it took me like the same amount of time to get to deprogram what they had programmed.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine dealing with somebody like that your whole life though. Yeah. And you have kids with them. Like, it's not that simple. I I don't wish that everybody would experience that kind of manipulation, but I wish that people. It's hard because I do wish people knew. It ain't that simple. It ain't that. You don't even know. You don't even know what's going on in your own mind. I mean, you're not even aware of what. It's a trip. It's a trip. And what I saw on that stage, coming from that standpoint, coming from what I've experienced, I was only able to recognize it because I've been there. So he was maxed out. He was maxed out. If it wasn't for her level of,
do you feel like that was, out of all things to be maxed out about, that was the? Don't you feel like some of that anger and some of that outburst was projected or misplaced? Like it should not have been Chris Rock. It had nothing to do with Chris Rock. It had nothing of the shit that you've been through. You know what I'm saying?
That shit had nothing to do with Chris Rock. That man was on his top layer of popping the cork, and Chris Rock didn't do nothing but pull it out. That was it. That came from her talking about her affair, entanglement. That came from her that came from the world, Black Twitter embarrassing him. That came from everything. And on the biggest night of his life,
right, of a lot of people's lives,
the biggest night of his life, this last man makes a comment about his wife, who he's had his entire last few years surrounded around being embarrassed by.
Gotcha.
He know he got to go home and deal with her mouth. But my man he need to get out. That's a get out situation. So
he got somebody been swirling around the little spoon in the teacup.
She has some issues of her own that she needs to. They need to stay off. I'm glad they got out of the main site. I think she still does her Red Table Talk. Hopefully, she's not Red Table talking about them no more, because she should have never ever brought their relationship to the Red Table. Facts. Should have never been. That should have been a limit. They should have had a discussion before she produced the show that said these things are off limits.
Facts. I agree. All right, last two. Blueface. Tap or cap? Is he corny or is he not corny?
That just caught me off guard.
Blueface. Corny or not corny? Tap or cap?
I'm confused about Blueface, to be honest. He's corny because my energy tells me that he's corny because he's trying to be. He wants to fit the mold of the rappers but when you really look at him, I don't think he's really like that. I think that he got too involved, and then he got with a woman and made her too involved, and now he feels fucking obligated to stick with her because he made her that. He made her. She was already had some crazy, but he definitely added the drugs and the rest of the shit. And I think that I feel like Blueface wish he was a better man, to be honest. So, is he corny? Yes, but I feel like, was he born corny? No, I don't think so. I think he just tried to fit the mold. So we're gonna have to say, yeah, he corny for sure.
Tap in.
I'm just gonna go ahead and be inclined with you on this one.
Yes, it's unfortunate because you can tell that if he didn't become who he was right now, he wouldn't even be that man. If he didn't become a rapper, if he didn't become about the clout,
right,
I don't think he would be like that. But hey, who's to say?
All right, last one, and then you are free to go, my lady. Chris Brown, tap or cap? Is he corny or is he not corny?
I don't think he's corny, but he is toxic as fuck. I don't think he's corny though.
So what makes him not corny?
Because he's true to who he is, and I've never seen him change molds ever.
Cap! That's cap! That's cap!
Personally, to me, I mean, I even seen him say like, "Don't touch me."
Oh, them ruffles? Okay, I feel you. Oh, what the? Oh, you bougie. She got the.
Yeah, not gonna lie to you.
Got the combination.
I think Chris Brown is dope. I know he made some mistakes when he was younger, bigger than mistakes. You know, they were huge, you know, career defining. But at the end of the day, he never disowned it. I mean, at any point, he could have tried to, you know what I'm saying, downplay it.
Mm-hmm.
But it even got to a point where nowadays he's like, man, fuck you guys. You guys are over here idealizing Christian Rock and fucking Blueface and happy about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're beating each other's ass. So
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Brown is, this is always confusing people when I say this. So I'm going to try to be real as best I can. Don't judge me. But hey, I'd rather deal with a man who is honest about who he is than a man who's lying about who he is. I'd rather deal with a man whose shit is on the outside than a man who has a mask of it on the inside, period. That's how I feel.
So I think that Chris Brown is extremely corny. And the reason why I say that is because Chris Brown was the epitome example of why I think a lot of women are full of shit. And the reason why I say that is because they place all these placements on men of what is a toxic man, what is not acceptable, how do you treat a woman. Then you look at Chris Brown and look at all these examples.
I mean, I would never fucking date Chris Brown.
But that's what I'm saying. But women drool at this nigga feet. But he makes women pay $1,000 just to meet and greet with this nigga. And women are paying this shit, and they do this
the way
shit. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by he's the epitome of that.
I don't even like light-skinned men, but Chris Brown,
long as the nigga looks good, he has the clout, he has the money, he has the looks. A woman's gonna look past all that toxicity to be like, you know what? I'm gonna make it.
Who is that man? Be whooping ass.
Most women. You know what I'm saying? And so like I think he's hella corny because I see Chris Brown on multiple occasions, like like you said, act like somebody you not, nigga. You're not a gangbanger, nigga. But he claimed Bloods. You know what I'm saying? He be beefing with niggas. He done got into it with hella people that like Drake. Nigga, any person who beefing with Drake is corny to me. I'm like, who is Drake to be beefing with? Nigga, like, I don't know. Like, he be beefing with a lot of niggas. I don't think that's certified. You know what I'm saying? If you look at any woman this nigga's been with, they have claimed all types of claims of him harassing them, all type of claims of him being obsessive and abusive and manipulative and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Karuchi to fucking Rihanna, all that shit. All the women have claimed that this nigga's out of line, and he'll go online and say, "With your mind, bitch. If you try to fuck with another nigga, I'll kill you." He'll say that shit out loud. I'm saying, I say this shit verbatim. Huh?
This is what I mean, though. I'm raising my hand because you know that Chris Brown is like that before you fuck with him, though. He's not lying about the man.
Hell.
Hold
on. You're not gonna convince me that the nigga that no, bro, he not a game banger because
smack your ass.
I don't believe it, nigga.
Like,
no, nigga, that nigga's not game, man. That nigga not Millie rocking to no fucking pistol, nigga. Fuck out of here.
He beating bitches. That's what he do. And if you get with him, no, he gonna smack your ass. That's my thing. Listen,
we never seen this nigga smack a nigga though, not once. All these years of game banging, all these years of putting his hands on women, you ain't never seen Chris Brown smack a nigga, not one time.
He don't have trauma with niggas. He got trauma with women. That's what he got trauma with. I'm not excusing him. I'm just saying he's not corny to me because he's true to who he is. That's it. That's it. Okay, for example, I can meet a man right now who's very up for it about who he is. And I feel comfortable dealing with him only because I know what space I can deal with him in, right? I know what boundaries to put up. I know where I'm not going to go. So we probably could be cool. We could chop it up. Am I going to be your girl?
Weird, bro, because that's like basically when people say, oh, I fuck with this racist because he's not a closet racist. I'd rather deal with a racist that's open about it than a person that don't tell me that they racist. Nigga, I don't want to deal with nobody.
I'm not dealing with no racist in any capacity, boo.
It's the same energy we should be applying.
I get what you're saying, but for me, right, look, I like to have a choice. I like to have a choice. Don't take my choice from me. That's how I feel. So
I hear that.
Don't take away my choice. Now, if I decide to deal with you knowing that you a Ike Turner ass motherfucker, then that's on me. I can't hate you for that. I can't be mad later when you smack me in my mouth while you millie rock me. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't tell me that and you're not upfront about that, you a corny ass motherfucker because you're trying to play it.
Oh man.
I don't think Chris Brown's corny,
wow.
But maybe I'm just a female and I love Chris Brown. I would never date Chris Brown because unless I want a black eye every Friday, and I also I'm not into light-skinned men. Sorry.
You gonna hurt my co-host feelings because that's the light-skinned ambassador right there.
I'm talking about his. I don't know.
I'm talking about his president, Chris Brown.
So, personally, maybe that could be another discussion. I don't know, but
another discussion.
Every time I take a sip from that cup, I'll be like,
Why is that? Why? Okay, for the record straight, just for you personally, why do you choose dark skin? I'm assuming dark skinned men over light skinned men.
When I find that answer, I will let you know. I was born loving chocolate men. I don't fucking know. I mean, at elementary school, I love chocolate. I've loved chocolate people. So, I'm not saying light-skinned men ain't fine. They could be fine as hell. They could be fine. Oh my God, they could whisper in my ear and my hair just fall off my head or some shit. I don't know. I'm just saying light-skinned men can be fine as fuck. But as far as willing to date, like the ones that I really be like, oh, they be chocolate men. I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it's like an opposites.
So he said, let's be honest, toxic men is loved by women because it's danger in that motherfucker. It's exhilarating. You gotta wait till they grow out of that. I think that's facts. Fact.
It's that hint of unpredictability. Hell, to be honest, man, like hanging around toxic.
That I can't agree to that. Couldn't be me.
It probably is exhilarating on all spectrums.
My nipples ain't getting hard by hanging around a toxic nigga, bro. That's weird as fuck. I ain't never been questioned by my parents or nobody. Be like, why you hang around that nigga? I don't know. It's just something about him. Like what? That's crazy as fuck to me, bro.
So it's like a taboo thing about like badness. You know when you're doing something you're not supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like a bad, like a ooh. You know what I'm saying? It's like exhilarating like that. Like you gotta catch yourself. When you get older, you start to be selective about your energy, right? So you're like, do I feel like is my elbow leaning that way? Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. But am I going to follow my elbow? No, I'm not going to follow my elbow. Sometimes you might slip and follow that elbow, but for the most part, that's how I feel about toxic men. That's my trait is that I feel like, yes, like I feel like maybe it's all women, but for me personally, that does tend to happen sometimes where it's like, when somebody says, don't go in that room and you go in the room because they told you don't go in the room. That's how it is with toxic men. Like he said, it's exhilarating. It's unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible for you. Mm-hmm. McDonald's is bad as fuck for you, but we still eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Me personally, I do not, but I do understand.
I'm just saying eating out is bad for you. And we know it's bad for us and we still eat out. Right. Sometimes you slip and you eat out. So when you want to diet, you want to eat the healthy men. But then sometimes you drive past a Taco Bell.
I feel you. It's a spontaneous explosion of unknown adventures.
Okay, he kind of toxic, huh? Because she detailed.
Hella. This is This is my brother. He toxic as fuck, but I love him to death. Like, love him to life. I love this nigga to life. Like, toxic as fuck, but that's
It's not
my
him
brother.
detailing the experience. Like, yeah, you definitely toxic. But
he's supposed to be on here, but this nigga want to be in the
he's
comments.
a water sign. He's a water sign.
My brother is he's a Leo. He's a Leo.
Good guess. But I do live in the hood. These dudes around here. Not generationally cursed.
Banging
he's a fire sign. I'm a fire sign
This
too.
ain't Avatar, nigga. We don't care about you being a Fire Nation, cuz.
I've learned that I'm a little toxic too. But we're not gonna get into all that. But I've learned that I'm a little toxic too.
We gonna say that for another episode. But we
I'm not ready to tell them.
We got 2 Leos in here. Oh, no wonder. Fire, earth, air, no water. I feel that.
I'm traumatized by water. I will never do water again. That's done. Out.
All right, man. Well, we almost hit the 3-hour mark. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that joined, specifically Simona. You feel me? The Mona, you know I'm talking about, my kinfolk from Cali grown, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate you coming through. You didn't have to be here, but you decided to fuck with us for tapping no cap, and you was an amazing contribution to today's episode. I thank you for holding it down. It was very last minute. I know you got schoolwork. I got schoolwork. It's a Friday night. So thank you so much. We had a beautiful conversation. And I look forward to more. If you ever got free time again, let's do this, because I think that the chemistry on screen is definitely easily to see. And I think that our bond and friendship of our relative backgrounds easily, you know, correlate with each other. So let's definitely build on this. And thank you for being on here.
I appreciate you inviting me. Thank you for having me. This was definitely an experience. I've never done this, so this was great. I felt pretty at home. This is my thing, communicating, so I just kind of pretend that there's not people watching me. But, oh Lord,
That's fun too.
I'm gonna pray for that one.
I mean, nigga, you ain't going nowhere, nigga. Like, nigga, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't be replaced, nigga. That's that Leo pride, nigga. You look like you doing a good job without me, nigga. Get your ass on the motherfucking stream, nigga. Stop acting funny stuff. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end this fucking stream, and we appreciate y'all tuning in with the team, man. Shout out to Mona. Shout out to Tapping No Capping. You feel me? You know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? If you're learning, you've seen it, then what's your opinion? We signing out for the night. Please subscribe. Please like. Please go ahead and share. You know what I'm saying? We gonna see y'all later, man. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.